Radio check, radio check. We should be live. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome along to the coverage here, folks. In 2025, we are here at round number 22 of 24 in Las Vegas. 3 races left of the season, 1 hour to go till the start of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. What a qualifying session we had yesterday. It was simply incredible. The amount of action, the amount of chaos, and the fact that we didn't get a single red flag. I mean, I was going into the qualifying session, looking at this being like heavy rain here in Vegas with no sort of with the drivers never having any sort of practice here in such treacherous conditions. I was expecting at least 2 red flags, but we had no major crashes and, well, some really outstanding performances, shall we say. We have had Jara and Lawson both get through into Q3. Great job from them. 6th and 8th position for Lawson and Hadjar respectively, and pretty solid. Okay. Hello everyone in the chat. Nice to see that everyone is awake. I am also awake, as you can clearly see. However, I was not awake about 7 minutes ago. So, I did get a little bit of sleep though, which is good. So now I can hopefully commentate a little bit better. And welcome everyone along to the coverage. Is the track wet? Well, as far as I can tell, I do not think so. I shall double check the forecast. Yes, the forecast is apparently saying that there is a 17% chance of rain for the race today, so we shall see if there is any rain that arrives, but 17% chance of rain according to one weather website. If I look at a different one, it will say 10% chance of rain, so the chances of rain are pretty slim, to be honest. But, well, never say never. Alright. Hope they keep Lawson and Hadjar together. They're such a wholesome pair. Indeed, they are. And well, they've been performing quite outstandingly in the past few races. If we quickly put the drivers' standings up, the constructors' standings up, you can see that Racing Bulls are on 82 points, very comfortably, 10 points ahead of Aston Martin, and they've got 2 cars into Q3, whereas Aston only got 1 car into Q3. Racing Bulls are doing pretty well. They unfortunately probably will not be able to chase down the Williams team. Williams have, of course, got Carlos Sainz up there in 3rd position. Mega job from him yesterday. But, yes, Williams is looking a little bit stronger than Racing Bulls are. At least Carlos Sainz is. Alex Albon has still got some ground to make up. Alright, we've got 1,300 people tuning into the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend so far. And let me just get a few things loaded up and we should be getting ready for the start of the session. Okay, so let's see, let's run through the rest of the images that I've got through here. I actually loaded these up a few hours ago and I forgot what I've put here. So looking at the previous few Grand Prix, we've had 2 races here in Las Vegas before, one in 2023, one in 2024, and well, you can see here that Lance Stroll has scored 10 points here in Las Vegas. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have only scored 9 and 8 points respectively here in the past. So I think it's safe to say that Stroll's in for a shot of winning this race. He had quite the eventful Q1 and Q2. Unfortunately, not an eventful Q3 because he went out on the intermediates just a little bit too early for the conditions liking, and he got eliminated by about 0.3 of a second in Q2. We shall see how he performs today, but yeah, pretty good performance, to be honest, from Lance Stroll. Let's see, what else have we got? Oh yes, Oliver Behrman was saying this is the least enjoyable street track that he has driven, and well, I've been talking about this sort of out of, I think, 2 of the 4 streams that we've had so far this weekend, and it's just about how Las Vegas is probably one of the worst circuits that they could have chose out of all of the racetracks in America. We've got so much variety, so much choice, and unfortunately, we have ended up with Las Vegas instead of maybe Watkins Glen or Road America or Laguna Seca or Indianapolis. Yeah, it's not the greatest track. Not a lot of drivers have too much fun around here either. It is yeah, there's just so many straights, not that many interesting high-speed corners, and well, the drivers aren't the biggest fans. This is Max Verstappen's idea on what he would do to improve Formula 1. I think I might come back to this a little bit later on. But the big thing for today, what is the strategy? And by the looks of it, we are going to have medium tyres to start off the race, then going on to the hards for a 1-stop. However, Pirelli aren't really sure why, Pirelli aren't really sure what the tyre degradation is going to look like, because if you do sort of remember, in free practice 1 we had not all that much running. Then in free practice 2 we also had not all that much running. And we've had, a mix of wet and dry throughout the weekend as well, which has been, we've had the track rubbering in, and then the rain falls, and then all of the rubbering in is gone again, and the grip is gone. The track becomes much more, it just makes it much easier to slide around and stuff like that. So we don't really know what the grip levels are going to be like today, and that's why right at the top of the screen as well, just above me, we do have a 20-second loss to make a pit stop, but we're maybe going to have 2 stops, maybe you're going to have 1 stop, so teams don't have enough data as of right now. They don't have enough accurate representative data to be sure whether it's going to be a 1-stop strategy or a 2-stop. But when we look at the number of available tyres for the drivers, we've got all of the drivers having loads of available fresh sets of soft tyres. That's because, of course, in qualifying they were using the wets instead of the softs. So big variety of softs to choose from. However, unlikely that they're going to get used in the race. The only strategy that Pirelli decides to use with them is soft, then medium, then soft. But we, who knows really if that is going to work or if it's not. Every single driver, with the exception of Alonso, Hulkenberg, and Bortoleto, have got only 1 set of medium tyres. Alonso, Bortoleto, and Hulkenberg have got two sets of mediums that they can use during the race, and Hulkenberg and Bortoleto have only got 1 set of hards. So pretty much everyone else apart from Hulkenberg and Bortoleto, 2 sets of hard tyres to choose from for the race, and that is why the strategies that we're most likely to see are either strategy number 1 at the top or strategy number 2. Hulkenberg and Bortoleto probably are going to be set and already locked in for strategy number 3. However, yes, the majority of the grid, it's either strategy 1 or strategy number 2. Looking at the race pace simulation, we can see that McLaren are the quickest. Is that really surprising? Not so much. Then we have got Red Bull in second place, about half a tenth slower per lap. Max Verstappen is not going to be that far behind Lando Norris, and of course he's going to be starting side by side with him, which we will talk about as Bob. That is going to be a very interesting point of contention. Turn 1, lap 1. We've had some interesting situations here before in Las Vegas, and Max Verstappen was also starting in second position when these certain interesting situations occurred. We've got the Mercedes being the third fastest car, Ferrari being fourth fastest, Williams not being that far behind the Ferraris, to be honest. You can see they're only 2/10 back, so Carlos Sainz again with a really good shot of potentially staying up in the top 5, maybe even up in the top 3. And then you've got a much bigger gap from the Williams team back to the Racing Bulls, and well, they should be able to stay within the top 10. They'll have some their work cut out though to stay ahead of the Alpines and Kick Saubers and Aston Martins. Alright, we have got 53 minutes till the start of the race fix, 53 minutes till the formation lap. We'll have the drivers coming out onto the track shortly to do their reconnaissance laps and to be able to move them, just get themselves towards the starting grid. The drivers lose 20 seconds of lap time when pitting under green flag conditions, and they lose 13.5 seconds if they pit under safety car or virtual safety car conditions. And of the 2 Grand Prix we've had here in the past, we have had 1 safety car deployment and 1 virtual safety car deployment. So that is the situation that we've had in Las Vegas for the past few. Yeah, that's sort of the strategy and pit stop situation that we've got here. A quick sort of roundup of what's been going on this weekend, if anyone hasn't been sort of listening along to the news and stuff like that. Sebastian Vettel has actually been at the racetrack, and given that he's my favourite driver, we've got a little segment here from of what Sebastian Vettel's been up to. He's been promoting his sort of the bees sustainability thing that he's been going on for the last few years really, and he's been taking a few photos with Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Fernando Alonso. You can see there Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton and Seb Vettel always leaving a little bit of space there. All the time you have to leave a space, and no, but it's good to see Seb Vettel back on the Formula One paddock and stuff like that. Yeah, hopefully we can maybe see him racing in 1 or 2 races in maybe WEC. I'd love to see Sebastian Vettel take part in 24 hours of Le Mans. That would be pretty cool. Just another quick note really, just looking here at the difference between Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso's necks. Obviously it's a very sort of minor thing, but Fernando Alonso of course still racing and having to train his neck all of the time, still having that huge load on his neck, and you can see Alonso's neck is nearly as wide as his entire face, and you compare that to Sebastian Vettel and it's wild just over the course of what it must be now 2 or 3 years, how much weaker that Sebastian Vettel's neck's got. Of course, it's not really a surprise, he's not using it that much, but when you look at it right now in this image, the difference is quite stark. Yeah. Okay, so I think I've run through all of those information. Always leave the space indeed. Did the Q3 folks get an extra set of soft tyres as they would be in the dry quali, or just probably not do that since it was a wet session? Well, if we look at the graph, we can see here that no. The drivers that did make it through into Q3 do not have 1 extra set of soft tyres because they made it into Q3. In fact, by the looks of it, they've all got 1 less set of soft tyres, which I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but yes, Pirelli haven't given them an extra set because, well, they're clearly not going to need one given that it was wet yesterday. All right. Ring ding 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 ding. Yeah, that is that's one of those Seb Vettel celebrations, isn't it? Okay, so that is that. Let me get rid of that. Thanks for streaming. Thanks for watching, folks. We've got 2,000 people watching the stream, and well, we're still 50 minutes away from the start of the race, so very much is appreciated. And thank you everyone for listening along. We have got the live timing data coming through for the race as well. It's going to be a 50 lap race here in Las Vegas, ladies and gents. So 50 laps, 50 laps of racing, of action, and we'll see how that goes down. All right. There is a great video of the olden days of Fernando Alonso cracking a hard shell nut using just his neck. Yes, I have actually seen that video, and no, all of these drivers have such strong necks. In fact, it's a slightly sensitive topic here, but it was Michael Schumacher who sort of retired out of Formula One with the Ferrari team, and of course, before he fully retired out the sport, he was driving with the Mercedes team. So in between that gap of driving for Ferrari and driving for Mercedes, he was no longer part of the Formula One world, or no longer part of an active Formula One team. And all of the drivers very often have in their contract saying you are not allowed to ride a motorcycle on the road because it is too dangerous. We do not allow you to do such things. That will be too dangerous. You're not allowed to skydive because the risk is too high, and we want you to still, still want you to be driving. We don't want you to be taking risks here and there, doing whatever. So quite often, all of these Formula One drivers, they're a big fan of motorsports. Quite a few of them big fan of motorcycles, but because of their contracts, they're not allowed to actually drive them, ride them. So Michael Schumacher, after he had left Ferrari, he did start riding motorcycles, and in fact he had quite the significant crash between in the sort of break in his sabbatical, shall we say, and I think one of the paramedics that went to sort of treat him at his crash himself said that because Michael Schumacher had such a strong neck from Formula One, that was one of the reasons why he actually survived the motorcycle crash that he went through, because just the strong neck muscles managed to hold his head in place and something. Obviously I'm not the most knowledgeable about motorcycle crashes and stuff like that and how the body works, but that was something that the paramedic said, that his extremely strong neck muscles is partly why the reason he lived through a motorcycle crash, which is kind of crazy. But you also see why Formula One drivers in their contracts have written you're not allowed to ride a motorcycle, because of course they would not want Ferrari has said, for example, they've paid Lewis Hamilton $100 million or whatever it is to drive for the team, and they didn't want him going through a motorcycle crash. Oh, also another thing is Hamilton. We haven't talked about him just yet, but he was I think I've put it up on the images somewhere, but Lewis Hamilton was the first Ferrari driver since Abu Dhabi 2009 to qualify in 20th position. He's not going to be starting the race in 20th position. Tsunoda's going to be starting from the pit lane by the looks of it, which means that Hamilton will be starting in 19th. However, yes, that is genuinely the last time a Ferrari driver qualified in last place, and 2009 Abu Dhabi, that is how long it was. Alright, F1 Gamer, is it a mandatory two-stop pit stop race? No, not today. In 1 week's time in Qatar, we do have a mandatory two-stop race because Pirelli aren't sure if their tyres are going to last that long. So Qatar is going to be a mandatory two-stop. However, right now here in Las Vegas, we will still have the option of doing a one-stop or the option of doing a two-stop. Right. Is there any chance of rain? There is a 17% chance of rain. That is the situation right now in Las Vegas. We'll see if it does rain. Will Max dive bomb in towards turn number 1? He definitely will. He definitely will. So I haven't talked about that just yet. But if we look back to 2023, which was the first time we raced here in Las Vegas, we had Charles Leclerc on pole position, Max Verstappen in second place. The driver who is on pole position is on the right-hand side of the grid. The driver who's in second position is on the left-hand side of the grid. That means going in towards turn number 1, Max Verstappen is already on the inside line. And, well, there's a bunch of runoff area on the exit of turn number 1. In fact, let me show you on the onboard lap. Let me get that up. Oh, yeah, that's the meme that I was looking for a little bit earlier on. Wait, where's the onboard lap? All right. So, here we go. Okay, in towards turn number 1, there is, as you can see here, this is the apex of turn 1, but over there on the right-hand side, there is loads of area to just push another driver off, and Max Verstappen did exactly that back in 2023 against Charles Leclerc. He was on the inside line, just braked super duper late and pushed Leclerc all the way off the edge of the circuit. In fact, got a penalty. And I think this was one of the races where he just said, "Send the stewards my regards," and then he went and won the race by like 25 seconds. Maybe this was the other, maybe I'm like sort of misjudging and I can't remember exactly which race it was, but I think this might have been that race where he took a 5-second penalty, said over the radio, "Send them my regards," and then won by a huge margin. So we'll see if Max Verstappen does that again. And also, Verstappen has got absolutely nothing to lose because he is 50 points nearly behind in the championship, and well, he might as well just go for it. Lando Norris has got this championship to lose now. In the current situation that it is, he is going to win this championship. He has got nearly one hand on the trophy already, and it's his championship to lose. So Max Verstappen, all or nothing in towards turn number 1. Norris is the driver who is not got the upper hand. He's sort of going to have to sort of just listen to whatever Max Verstappen does and sort of deal with it because he cannot afford a DNF. Okay. Thanks for the donation there. GHOO X1J F1 Gamer, good morning, matey. Quick question for you and the group. If you could change one thing about the F1 rules or technical spec, what would you do? That is a tough one. There's quite a few things that I would want to do, to be honest. But thanks for the donation, and I shall let me turn my webcam on and I'll answer this question. So, I would quite like to see I'd quite like the V8s back or the V10s, and with the engines back, with the V8s or the V10s, I would like to have unrestricted fuel flow limits so the engines can actually rev up to 18,000, 19,000 RPM. But on the other hand, just saying smaller cars might be a better option. It's great to have a good sounding car, but would you also rather have good racing as well? So maybe it would be, my other option would be just having smaller cars and lighter cars as well. It's Andy. All right, thank you. Thanks, Andy, for the for the donation, for the question. And Ruha Copper, thanks for the $2 donation as well. It came by a few minutes ago, but thanks for the donation. F1 Gamer Alonso has a good relationship with Seb, at least, rather than Lewis Hamilton. Alonso does have a good relationship with Seb. I was just poking some jokes a little bit earlier on, saying that they're leaving the space between each other. Alright, as you can see right at the top of the screen there, folks, you can see drivers just making their way around in towards the end of the pit lane. They're going to be making their way around the track, doing some reconnaissance laps, and will be going racing very, very shortly. Okay. Who are you cheering for? Well, to be honest, as I've said a little bit earlier on, I think, yesterday probably, all I want is for the final race of the season, I want Norris and Piastri tied on points going into the final race of the season. If Max Verstappen can also be tied on points, then I would love to have that. However, that looks pretty unlikely. So I guess if I want that to happen, I'm cheering on Oscar Piastri here to, get close to Lando Norris and hopefully overtake him to close up the championship battle again. And, we'll sort of just have to see how this goes. F1 Gamer, just curious, do the lap times get slower year by year in specific regulation sets, or is it the same as Max's 2023 to 2025 tenure? The lap times get quicker and quicker. So what happens is over the course, approximately, because, this is a vague sort of number, but approximately the cars get 1 second faster per year. Of course, it depends on different circuits. In Monza, where top speed is king, the engines aren't different from last year to this year, so we're not going to have such a big improvement in lap time. But let's say a circuit like Suzuka, where you need a lot of downforce, through all of these S's and everything. The extra aerodynamics that the teams develop over the course of the year will speed the car up, and you'll go about a second faster or so. Is this the formation lap? No, it is not, folks. These are the reconnaissance laps here. So what we're going to have is the drivers just driving around. They're coming out the pit lane. They're making sure the cars are working as expected. They'll drive around, do a couple of laps, get a feel for what the grip levels are. Then they will park themselves up on the starting grid at the top right there, and get ready to go racing. Is it raining or is it not? It is not raining as of right now. If anyone is currently at the Las Vegas track, be sure to let us know what the weather is looking like. The forecast, of course, this weekend hasn't been the most accurate thing in the world, and sometimes it's been saying it's raining when it's not. Sometimes it's been saying it isn't raining when it is. So let's see. Let's see what happens in terms of the forecast. It says 17% chance of rain if I check the websites. All right. Let's go through some more of these memes. We had some of these pulled up here. So yeah, this was Ferrari, to be honest, yesterday. 20th position for Lewis Hamilton, 8th position for Charles Leclerc, of course. Oh, sorry, not 8th, 9th position for Charles Leclerc after having, he was on for a reasonably good lap, but then, as you can see over there at turn number 12, had an issue and, brought out the yellow flag, which also ruined Oscar Piastri's lap behind him. Piastri was on for quite a good run, actually. He was 4th fastest in the first sector. His second sector was also looking reasonably good before the yellow flags came out. So, who knows what will have happened. And Norris actually made quite a big mistake on his final flying run. So Piastri did have a shot to actually get pole. Norris actually thought that he hadn't got pole position. When he came over the radio, he was like, I've made a mistake. What place am I? And he was very surprised to hear that he was in first position. And that, of course, was because of the yellow flags that were caused behind him. How many more seasons do you think Max will race in F1? I don't know. It's tough to say, really. If the Red Bull car is good next year, then maybe he loads more years. If he gets bored or something, then maybe he'll go do something else. Can't really tell, to be honest. We'll see what Max Verstappen does. Back in 2023, he had an absolute cinema race where he went down the inside of Charles Leclerc, pushed him off the circuit, went over the radio, said, "Send the stewards my regards," after getting a 5-second time penalty, and won the race by a huge margin. We'll see if he tries to repeat that again this year. I have a feeling that he will be trying to push Norris out of the way going towards turn number 1. Max has got absolutely nothing to lose right now, and he's got a shot of winning this race, so why not? Why not go for it? So we'll see what Max can do. What else have we got? This was just an incredible performance by Stroll. Stroll was looking really, really good yesterday. And to be honest, we were seeing loads of drivers set loads of different fastest laps. And we were seeing, the P1's position very frequently get updated. But Stroll and Alonso, both of them, were setting blisteringly quick laps on the full wets. When it switched over to intermediate tyres, unfortunately the pace wasn't there for them, but on full wets, Stroll and Alonso were looking fantastic. So, it's a little bit unfortunate that the rain did not continue throughout Q2 and Q3. We would have got to see some more brilliant performances from Stroll and Alonso. We'll see how it goes for the Ferrari cycle. It was absolute depression for Charles Leclerc. I mean, he's starting in 9th position in a car that definitely should be starting up in the top 5, which is, not great. We'll see how many overtakes he can make on lap 1, but it is a little bit difficult. F1 Gamer, it is drizzling. Is it drizzling? Apparently it is. I will double check if it is drizzling. But one person in the chat is saying that it's drizzling, so who knows? All right. Are there radios on? No, they are not. The radios normally come through about 10 minutes before the start of the race or so. Yeah. Okie dokes. Thank you everyone for tuning in and welcome along to the coverage here in Las Vegas. If you are new to the channel, then be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe. It goes a long way to helping out the YouTube algorithm and sort of keeping the channel going. Here I am at 3:26 a.m. here in the UK. Getting up for the stream. I've been on about 1 hour, 2 hours of sleep, so would very much be appreciated, folks, if you could hit the like button. You know what I'm going to do? I will take you through a flying lap of the circuit. So where is my onboard flying lap? Okay, let's get rid of this and let's go with the flying lap. So, going in towards this is turn number 17 here. The manhole cover was here. This caused some issues here in FP2 because the manhole cover was loose and was potentially going to fly into one of the cars, which was clearly a problem. But yeah, they welded it shut. They refixed the locking mechanism on all of the manhole covers and then welded them all shut as a precaution as well. So that was that. Then you go on to turn number 1 here. You can see that you go all the way off to the right hand side, brake as late as you possibly can, and to be honest, your exit of turn number 1 does not really matter. Your entry is the thing that matters. And yeah, you can brake really late, go super deep onto the brakes while still braking, trail braking really deep into the corner. It allows you to carry a lot of speed into turn 1, and then you make your way through turns number 3 and 4. You just need to get a good run through turns number 3 and 4 because you've got a big old straight there. Why has Alonso stopped down the Alonso has stopped because that is where the starting grid is, just on the exit of turn number 17. That's where the cars are all lining up for the start of the race, and that's why Alonso has stopped on the track. Here we are going down towards turn number 5 here. We had quite a few drivers have some issues here and there with braking into turn number 5 in wet conditions, but in the dry conditions it should be a little bit better. And the corner really tightens up. The drivers do their best to stay away from that corner, stay away from the wall. Turn 6, you've got braking and steering at the same time. Very easy to lock up, but we haven't seen too much of that because the drivers were extremely cautious yesterday onto the brakes. And to be honest, they also weren't carrying that much speed into that corner, so they didn't need to brake as much. Okay. Then you make your way through turns number 10 and 11. Turn 10, a very sweeping right-hander. Then turn 11, very sweeping left-hander. Again, braking and steering at the same time, but it's not too much of an issue. Turn 12 is relatively easy to stay on the circuit with. We did have a few drivers in wet conditions have problems, but turn 14 and 15, that was the major one yesterday. It was very, very problematic to stay on the circuit. The drivers were approaching at huge speeds of up to 350 kilometers per hour. In dry conditions, 300 or so kilometers per hour. In wet conditions, and yeah, just very, very late on the brakes for turn number 14. Then you go to the left, to the right, and then to the left again, and that's the final chicane, and on to the start finish. Onto the main straight again. So that is a lap of Las Vegas, folks. All right. Brilliant. Is it raining? I shall find out, folks. I shall find out if it is raining. However, I do not think it is. At least it's not raining hard enough for it to come over the FIA race control messages. Normally they say that we are getting rain when it's raining. So if it is raining, it's super light or it's just not raining whatsoever. Track temperature is the highest that we've seen all weekend. It's still only 17 degrees, which is, very, very low in the Formula One world of things. Normally we've got track temperatures up in the sort of 35-degree range, but yeah, 17.7 degrees right now. It's the warmest that we've had in Las Vegas for quite a while. No rain. Thank you very much for the info, folks. It looks like, yes, we have not got any rain. I think someone in the chat was Just trying to mess with me. F1 Gamer, do you think Oscar would win? Well, look, Oscar was looking reasonably quick yesterday, and the gap between Norris and Oscar was not that big. Of course, in qualifying, after Piastri got his lap blocked by Charles Leclerc, there was no chance that he was going to be close to Norris. However, in the race, if he can make the right overtakes at the right time, if he can get ahead of George Russell, quickly get past Carlos Sainz, then he's in with a shot of competing against Verstappen and Norris, and then strategy will have to do the thing. We'll have to do some heavy lifting as well, because if Norris leads out of turn number 1, it's going to be very, very difficult to chase him down, and we'll sort of just have to see how it goes for Oscar Piastri, but he needs some sort of chaos to happen between Verstappen and Norris if he wants to have a shot of winning the race and also winning the championship. Okay. F1 Gamer, is it almost confirmed that the Honda engines are the closest to the Mercedes engine, and the Aston Martin team engineers and team principals are saying that we may have a new world champion driver? I don't know exactly what you mean. The Honda and the Mercedes are pretty close to each other, but I don't think that's going to be affecting the Aston Martin team this year. It'll be affecting them next year. And why is Hamilton 19th? Hamilton's 19th because he was slow yesterday in wet conditions. In wet conditions when everyone was sort of expecting Hamilton to shine, to put in a good lap, because, well, Hamilton historically has been very good in wet conditions. He was absolutely nowhere to be seen. He hit a bollard, he had a bollard stuck under his car, and, well, yeah. 20th position is where he qualified. Tsunoda's going to be starting from the pit lane. The rest of the drivers are on the starting grid. We are 27 minutes away from the start of the formation lap, and then we will have the start of the race. Yeah. Why is Tsunoda starting in the pits? They want to make some setup changes to his car, and that's why we've got Yuki Tsunoda starting from the pit lane. F1 Gamer, what do you think about Ferrari F1 Driver Academy scoring podiums before Lewis? Well, I mean, the F1 Academy is a different thing to Formula 1, so I don't really think there's much point in comparing that. But yes, Lewis's podium record of scoring a podium every single year of his career, I don't know how long that is going to... I don't know if that's going to happen this season. Okay, the other thing is... why have we only got 50 laps of racing, not 71? The way that it works in Formula 1 is that the races are always 300 kilometers long, and it depends on how long the racetrack is. So here in Las Vegas, the racetrack is approximately 6 kilometers long, so you do 6 times 50, and you get 300 kilometers. And the previous racetrack where we were racing in Interlagos, as you can see over here, was a little bit shorter. It was, I think, 4.3 kilometers, and that's why we had to do 71 laps there to reach the grand total of 300 kilometers. Okay. Do you think Sainz is going to get a podium again? Oh, that is an interesting one because, okay, look, if we have a look at the race pace simulation of the Williams team, you can see here that Williams are only 0.2 slower than the McLarens per lap. They are only half a tenth slower than the Ferraris, 1/10 slower than the Mercs. So Carlos Sainz can reasonably defend against George Russell for the vast majority of this race. Like, it's not going to be very difficult whatsoever. Given that the Williams is pretty quick in a straight line, they've both got the Mercedes power unit. We could see Carlos Sainz hold up George Russell and potentially hold on to that podium position. The question is just how long into the race will Sainz be able to defend against Russell, because I think Russell will be quicker, as you can see by the data, but 1/10 of a second isn't the biggest gap, and we've seen in the past that maybe you need 2/10 of pace advantage to overtake someone, or maybe even 3/10 of a pace advantage to overtake someone. So who knows? In fact, Carlos Sainz is the only driver to qualify in the top 3 in Las Vegas every single time that we've raced here. In 2023 and in 2024, he qualified in the top 3, and, well, he's done it again, this time in the Williams. Liam is only 7 points behind Hadjar, but Hadjar is still considered for Rookie of the Year, and Liam is considered to be a waste. Well, I don't think people are really considering Liam Lawson to be a waste. Lawson has done some very good performances over the season. However, Hadjar has just been standing out, in very certain performances. Hadjar has been there. Of course, Hadjar has got his podium as well. And yeah, Lawson, I think, by the fact that he was at Red Bull for 2 races, immediately got demoted down, sort of puts a bit of a stain across his season. But regardless, his improvement arc, his recovery arc, shall we say, has been mega, and he has done a really, really good job sort of getting back on his feet. It takes a huge mental toll on you. Just imagine being up in the Red Bull team and being the shortest amount of time spent at the Red Bull team before getting demoted. It's never happened before. Just 2 drivers that a driver will drive for the Red Bull team, and then, oh no, time to get you demoted. So, it would have had a very significant mental impact on Lawson at the start of the season. But the fact that he's built up off that and has managed to do as well as he has just shows incredible mental resilience. Okay. Do you think there's going to be an Alonso train? Probably. Fernando Alonso is pretty good at defending around here, and Fernando is pretty good at defending full stop, and this weekend will be no different. So we'll see if Alonso causes a big DRS train, but we've seen it in the past few races, haven't we? Okay. Who do you think will win this race? Well, looking at it statistically, I am probably going to go with Max Verstappen, because I genuinely think that he is going to be absolutely sending it down the inside. I think someone commented a little bit earlier on saying that the rules are a little bit ridiculous, and how Max Verstappen can sort of just exploit the rules and get away with it. And yeah, the rules are written in a bit of a awkward and terrible way, to be honest. And the thing is, Max Verstappen will be on the inside. The rules say if you are on the inside, then you can do pretty much whatever you want, and you can do whatever you want to the driver that's on your outside. And you may get a penalty for it if you push them all the way off the circuit, but Max is also going to gain quite a significant margin of time if he just overtakes Norris in a slightly dodgy manner in towards turn number 1. And he did it in the past and sent the stewards his regards, and went on to win the race. And I see no other reason why Max wouldn't try to do that again. And last time he got a 5-second time penalty. This time he'll probably get a 10-second time penalty, but if it still works out, then Max won by more than 5 seconds last time, so we'll see what he does. Rain predictions, unfortunately no rain on the forecast. The percentage chance of rain has just been getting lower and lower as the day has been going on. I checked it a little bit earlier on, it was around 40%, and now it's down to 17, and then it's down to 10. So, alright. So 50 laps with 25 lap limit. Folks, the 25 lap limit is only active in Qatar. It is not active here in Las Vegas. The reason why there is a 25 lap limit on the tyres in Qatar is because Qatar is such a high speed circuit. There are loads of high speed corners, and Pirelli were not expecting the cars to improve this much over the course of the season. They are too fast for Pirelli's predictions, which means that there is extra force going through all of the tyres, and Pirelli don't want, to have a tyre failure halfway through the race because someone went too long on a set of medium tyres or too long on a set of hard tyres, and that is why they've introduced a 25 lap limit. For the Qatar Grand Prix, here in Las Vegas, you can do 1 lap on your tyres, you can do 49 laps on your tyres. It does not matter. The FIA is not going to stop you. Okay. Lando Norris will be investigated after the race for failing to follow the race director's instructions of maximum delta time. Maximum delta time is just going to be driving around the circuit at on his outlap. There's a maximum speed, that's maximum lap time that you can have, and Lando Norris exceeded that maximum lap time. I don't think he's going to get any sort of major penalty for that one. Qatar has triangular curbs which cut the tyres. Yes, that's the other thing. And because of the curbs at Qatar, they're sort of extremely vicious on the cars and cause loads of vibrations. So it's not just the fact that there's like super high loads in Qatar. Like if you look at the graph of tyre loads, it's really high. But then they also are very sharply going up and down because the drivers are bouncing over these curbs and driving over these curbs. So that's another problem in Qatar. And that's another reason why Pirelli have introduced the 25 lap limit. Is Lewis going to get a new engine? No, Lewis is starting in 19th position. No, he's not starting from the pit lane, so no new engine for him by the looks of it. Yeah, it's just not great, is it, for Lewis Hamilton? So we shall see. We shall see what he does today, and if he can recover and potentially get up into the points. But it's going to be a very, very long day for Lewis Hamilton. We can overtake at the circuit. We've definitely seen it happen in the past. In towards turn number 14 over there. Great overtaking opportunity. And again, in towards turn 1 and turn 5. We've got quite a few good overtaking opportunities for the drivers. It's going to take a while to get the hard tyres up into temperature. Indeed, it is. And that is why we actually may see the overcut strategy work a little bit better than the undercut here in Las Vegas. Typically, how it works is if you're at a circuit where you've got loads of tyre degradation, the undercut is super strong. But when you've got a circuit that's got low tyre degradation, the overcut is much stronger. And we may see some drivers try to pull off the overcut. And the hard tyres genuinely are going to take so long to warm up. We could even see some drivers take a gamble at the start of the race and start the race on softs. You know, the predicted strategy by Pirelli: start the race on the mediums, then go on to the hards. But for example, right, let's just say you're confirmed that you are going to do strategy number 2 and you're going to make 2 pit stops, then you might as well start the race on a set of soft tyres, do reasonably long stints on the 2 sets of hards that you've got in stint number 2 and stint number 3, but off the line you're going to have a great launch. On the first couple of laps you'll have your tyres warmed up much quicker than everyone else, and oh my god, wait, what? Track temperature has just jumped up to 30 degrees Celsius? Has someone just put a heater on top of the temperature sensor or something? Because it was 17 degrees Celsius just before, and somehow it has gone 12 degrees up. I don't know if that's particularly accurate, but if the track temperatures are so high, then we are going to see a lot of tyre degradation, and we're definitely going to see strategy number 2 and 3 rather than strategy number 1. But yeah, I don't know. Has someone poured hot water over the temperature sensor? What's going on? Why has it gone up 12 degrees Celsius? It's not like the sun's come out. It's nighttime in Las Vegas. If quite often we see at racetracks when the clouds are blocking the sun, and then suddenly the clouds move away, the track really warms up as the sun is sort of baking the asphalt. But yeah, there's no sort of sun in Las Vegas, so I don't know, bit confusing. Okay, we've got 5,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It goes a long way to helping out the channel. In fact, I have not updated the like counter. Let me just update that. There we go. We've got 1,100 likes. Fantastic. And I should also update the like goal for the stream to be 6,000 likes. So thanks everyone that's hit the like button. If you haven't already, would very much be appreciated. My weather map has it as 14 degrees Celsius. Yeah, it's the air temperature is 17 degrees Celsius, but suddenly the track temperature is it was up at 28, now it's down. It's up at 29, now it's down to 28. We'll keep an eye on it. However, I have a feeling it's going to go back down to around approximately 20 degrees Celsius as we get towards the start of the race. Good morning from Turkey. Good morning. Yeah, I'm sure we've got people from all around the world watching this stream here. So, hello, wherever you are. I think we've probably got people on all 5 continents. I don't think we'll have anyone from Antarctica, unfortunately. However, that would be pretty cool. If you are from Antarctica and you're watching the stream, be sure to let me know. Yeah. Isn't it going to be nighttime in Antarctica for 6 months now? I think that's how it works, no? Yeah. All right. 15 minutes now till the start of the race. Let's quickly run through a few more things. Laditu, thanks for joining the channel membership. Very much is appreciated. F1 Gamer, how's your day going? It's going pretty well. I mean, my day hasn't really started, to be honest with you guys, because it is 3:45 a.m. here in the UK. But yeah, I've had a pretty good weekend, to be honest. Risk of rain is 10% according to the FIA. So the race control have just sent a message over the thing, and they've said that risk of rain is 10%. Is that a shower curtain, bro? No, this is just the curtain to my window. And these are my flaps, yeah. So no, I'm not commentating from the bathroom. All right. Yeah, we've got loads of people from everywhere by the looks of it. We've got I'm not going to read out every single chat message because we'll be here for a very, very long time, but looks like we have very much got all 5 continents. Let's see, love from Antarctica. Oh, looks like we have got some people from Antarctica. I'm from the Antarctica lab and it's dark here. Okay, pretty cool. Any special reason why you've got Interlagos and Suzuka behind me? They're sort of my favourite racetracks, really. That is why I have got that's why I've got them behind me. Yeah. Got a few Canadians in the chat. Hopefully is supporting Lance Stroll as always. 12th position is where Lance Stroll is starting from. And Mal, thanks for the donation. I've got Russell winning, maybe, you know. Of course, in these lower track temperature conditions, George Russell and the Mercedes car excels quite drastically. And, well, let's see if he can put together a good performance today and potentially get a race win. All right. What else was I going to do? Oh, yeah. The drivers lose approximately 20 seconds of lap time when they pit under green flag conditions, and they lose 13.5 seconds if they pit under safety car or virtual safety car conditions. That is the that's the pit stop loss time for the drivers around here. It's not too long of a pit lane. We had Seb Vettel on the paddock a little bit earlier on in the weekend, saying hi to his old friends, of course, Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Sebastian Vettel, of course, promoting the B sustainability thing that he's been that he's been sort of invested in for the past few years, which is great to see. And good to see Seb Vettel back on the calendar, of course. Back in the Formula One paddock. Would love to see him around. And yeah, any of you Canadians here, any of you Lance Stroll fans, looking at the past data, you know, you can only use what's happened in the past to predict the future. It may not be the most accurate thing ever, but you can clearly see Lance Stroll has scored 10 points here in the past in Las Vegas. Lando Norris only 9. Oscar Piastri only 8. So I think it's safe to say that Stroll is in for a shot of a podium this weekend. Come on, Oscar, time for you to kick some butt. Yes, let's see what Oscar can do. 5th position for him, and, well, his first task will be trying to get ahead of George Russell in towards turn 1, but of course Russell will be on the inside line. So quickly to reiterate, folks, the drivers with odd numbers, so number 1, number 3, number 5, they are starting on the right-hand side of the grid. The drivers with even numbers starting on the left-hand side of the grid, and the left-hand side is the inside line going in towards turn number 1. So that is... yeah, that's essentially what the situation is going to be for the drivers. And, Max Verstappen will have the inside line against Lando Norris in towards turn 1, which probably means that Max Verstappen will be pushing Lando Norris wide. We'll see how it goes, but he's done it in the past, and I see no reason why he would not do it this weekend either. Is there any other website other than Servers TV? Folks, if you do want to watch the Formula 1 coverage for only $2 a month rather than paying the extortionate fees of Sky Sports or ESPN or whatever it is, you can get Surfshark VPN for $2 a month. Then you join a Swiss VPN server and you can search SRF Formula 1 and you can watch the coverage there. Or you could watch it on an Austrian VPN server and search Servers TV, whichever one works for you. All right. Yeah. Brilliant. So we have got the drivers all up on the grid right now, and we'll be getting underway for the racing very, very shortly. It's 10 minutes now till the formation lap, and then once the formation lap is done, we'll have the drivers on the starting grid ready to go racing. Why isn't data showing tyres? We'll get the tyre information coming through in approximately 5 minutes time or so. That's normally when we will be getting, that's normally when we get the information. Is the Swiss server broadcast in English? No, unfortunately not. So, folks, if any of you do get Surfshark VPN, the broadcasts are in German for the Austrian one and for the Swiss ones, and you just mute the coverage essentially, and you can watch the cars go around the circuit, but then you listen to me commentate instead. Dry race, it looks like it, folks. It does look like it. 10% chance of rain for the race today. Do you have water? Indeed, I do. In fact, I'm going to have a sip of water. Give me a sec. All right. Are we expected Lindblad in VCOM next year? Probably not. Lindblad is still a little bit too inexperienced for Formula 1, I would say, and I think it would be best if he did another year in Formula 2 and then found his way into VCARB, so we shall see how it goes. Must be the water indeed, folks, must be the water. We'll see how, the track, however, has not got any water on it. It is nice and dry. Yeah. Here we go then. Sainz got lucky, no penalty. I don't think Sainz, yes, I don't know if Sainz was involved in anything, but no penalties were given to Carlos Sainz. And anything that you see there, the order that you see on the track, on the screen right now, that is the order of the starting grid. So Tsunoda starting from the pits, Hamilton starting in last position. Hey F1 Gamer, would you like to see the curve system make a comeback? Well, to be fair, the curve system is very similar to what we've got right now. The kinetic energy recovery system is very similar to the MGUK, I think. That's what the K in MGUK stands for, kinetic, and the curve system is very, very similar to that. Actually, according to the Ferrari cycle, after that quali session, we should go into the Weirso back phase. That is correct. Ferrari were very much down in the dumps, to be honest. After qualifying, where's the image gone? Oh, it's not in this one. It's in the other one, isn't it? Where has it gone? We have got it was the absolute depression for Ferrari, but we shall see if they can recover and make it into the Weirso back phase. Thoughts on Ferrari going with two different downforce setups today? Well, they've got two different races to run, to be honest. Charles Leclerc is starting from 9th position, only trying to make up probably, I'd say, 4 or 5 places, trying to finish up in 4th position, I'd say, whereas Lewis Hamilton has got a lot more overtakes to do, and hence the different downforce setup. I think that makes sense, doesn't it? All right. If Lando wins, Max World Drivers' Championship still possible? I don't think so. Well, it depends where Max Verstappen finishes, of course. If Max Verstappen doesn't score any points, then I think Max will be theoretically out of the championship. If Max is in 2nd position, I guess technically he would still be in the championship fight, but we don't. I think it's highly unlikely. Currently, right now, quickly looking at the drivers' standings, you can see here there's a 24-point gap between Piastri and Norris, and there is a 49-point gap between Verstappen and Norris. So, yes, 49 points means that Norris would have to DNF 2 races, and Max Verstappen will have to win the next 2 races for them to go into Abu Dhabi 1 point apart. Of course, that's excluding the sprint race in Qatar, but yeah, essentially it's highly, highly unlikely, unless, of course, Norris DNFs here, which he has done in the past. So, let's see. If Lando outscores Max by 9 points, the championship's over for Max Verstappen. Well, there we go. If Max ever decides to join Mercedes, who do you think is more likely to get replaced, Russell or Antonelli? as much as I would like to keep Russell at the team, I think Russell would be the driver that gets replaced, because I think what Toto Wolff wants is, firstly, he does not want a repeat of the Nico Rosberg Lewis Hamilton situation where you have two really top drivers competing against each other for the Formula One championship. And the other thing is that having Antonelli sort of learn from George Russell and learn from Max Verstappen, two of potentially the best drivers on the grid right now, that means that would just be fantastic for Antonelli as a career development. So that is why they would, if Max Verstappen was to join Mercedes, Russell would be the driver to make way for Max. We've got tyre information here, folks. Tyre information has just come through. We've got medium tyres for the top 10. Nico Hülkenberg starts the race on hards. Then Stroll, Ocon, Behrman are also on the mediums. And then we've got Colapinto, Albon on the hards. Antonelli on the softs, the only driver taking a gamble on the soft tyres. Then we have got hard tyres for Bortoletto, hard tyres for Hamilton, and mediums for Tsunoda. So the top 10 all playing it safe and going out on the medium tyres. What did Yuki do to earn the pit lane start? I think Yuki just wanted a different setup. Yesterday's quali performance wasn't amazing. Maybe, yesterday Tsunoda had put on a wet setup for the car, hoping to do well in the wet conditions, but for whatever reason it didn't work out, and they've decided to revert back to a dry setup. That's, of course, not a certain fact. I'm just sort of speculating here. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see what Yuki Tsunoda can do. Alright, but here we are, folks, 3 minutes and 30 seconds away from the start of the formation lap, and then once the formation lap is done, of course, we will be racing. We'll have 50, the Japanese driver was fitted with a 5th internal combustion engine. Oh, fair enough, okay. Tsunoda's also got a new engine as well. So that probably helps. Thanks for the information there in the chat. Alright. So yeah, new setup, new power unit, and yeah. Well, it's good to have a new power unit here in Las Vegas. Max Verstappen also, we could actually see, I think Tsunoda and Max were running the exact same setup in one of the practice sessions. I think at FP1, both drivers start out from the same setup, and Max was going, I think, 2 or 3 kilometers an hour quicker down the straight because Max had the fresh engine from Brazil and Tsunoda was, of course, using an old engine. So you get an extra maybe 2 or 3 kilometers per hour at the end of the straight. Yeah. All right. So you know what I'm going to do? We shall get the team radios coming through. Yes, let's switch it over to this side here, and we're getting the team radios coming through. Just 2.5 minutes till we get underway for the race. Where can I watch the race? It's Service TV using Surfshark VPN. That is the strat, folks. Yeah, Austrian VPN server, Service TV, and then that's how you do it. All right, quickly just looking at the race strategy before we get underway for the formation lap. I'll just run through it one final time. Where's it gone? Here we go. So we've got most of the drivers starting out on the medium, so that gives them flexibility. They can either do a 1-stop or a 2-stop. So start the race on the mediums, then go on to the hards around lap number 20 to 26. If the drivers pit before lap number 20, it's quite likely they're going to be doing a 2-stop race. If they pit after lap number 20, it's quite likely they're going to be doing a 1-stop race. So that is the current situation that we're going to see in Vegas. And, well, let's see how it goes. Track temperature reliable now in the middle. Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but the track temperature is now dropping suddenly from 27 to now 25 to 24. So who knows? I will, but maybe it is 24 degrees Celsius. But I still can't think of a reason why it would suddenly just warm up by 7 degrees Celsius. Like, unless there is genuinely like the sensor. Let's say the sensor is just underneath the starting grid, and you've got all of the cars lined up on the starting grid, which of course will change the temperature and affect things like that. But I'm not really sure, to be honest. Desert being a desert, maybe. Any chance of rain, folks? The rain forecast is 10%. That is the forecast for the race. So, yeah, take of that what you will. Maybe they kept the sensors covered. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if they kept the sensors covered or not. Am I in the bathroom? No. I'm. This is my bedroom curtain to the window outside. Yeah, you can see that. All right. So, here we go, folks. Let me get rid of this countdown timer. We're getting the formation lap starting imminently. Let's go racing, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 12,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It goes a long, long way to helping out the channel. You know, I'm awake here at 4 a.m. Would very much be appreciated if you guys could just hit the like button. Okay. So, let's get racing, ladies and gents. Let's get racing. Oh, I should probably move that text a little bit, shouldn't I? Let's make it a little bit smaller. But yeah, essentially the teams don't have very accurate data. What's happened is because Free Practice 2 was disrupted, Free Practice 3 was wet, Quali was of course wet as well, and then we had FP1, the only representative data, but that was when the track was not rubbered in whatsoever. The teams don't know what the tyre degradation is going to be like, and hence we may get a 2-stop, we may get a 1-stop. We'll have to see. It also depends on this track temperature that has suddenly just changed by about 10 degrees in the space of 2 minutes a little bit earlier on. What's up with Leclerc? I think his GPS was just having a little bit of a glitch as they were making their way around the flying lap. All right. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go racing. Lando Norris is making his way down through turns number 13, and look at this. Ocon's coming over the radio saying the grip was fine, so whatever grip levels they were expecting, it looks to be reasonably close to that, so not too shabby for the drivers. And they're all going to be weaving left and right now, building up as much temperature as they can, and then also getting those brakes warm as well. In towards turn 1, we've got a reasonably short run, and again, to reiterate, folks, the drivers with odd numbers, they are starting on the right-hand side of the grid. The drivers with even numbers are starting on the left-hand side. The left-hand side is the inside line, so Verstappen will be on the inside line going in towards turn 1, and I see absolutely no reason why Verstappen would not just send one down the inside against Lando Norris. He's got nothing to lose. He's 49 points behind in the championship. And Norris has got this championship to lose. Norris is the driver that has to play it safe, because if he gets a DNF and Piastri doesn't, then his championship is in really big jeopardy. And well, Norris has got to play it safe. Verstappen doesn't. Verstappen can take advantage. Okay, folks. Well, they're all making their way down very slowly down the back straight, doing their burnouts, getting the rear temperatures up into the window, getting the clutch settings into the correct dial to make sure that when they do drop the clutch, they get a fantastic launch off the line. And let's see how it goes. Typical dive bomb strats. It's typical Max Verstappen fashion. He's done it in the past and been handed a 5-second time penalty. He did not care one bit and just said, "Send the stewards my regards," and won the race by over 15 seconds. We'll see if he does it again. This time, probably not a 5-second time penalty, probably a 10-second time penalty for pushing Norris off. But let's see. Norris has angled his car ever so slightly to the left-hand side to try and cut across Max Verstappen. Verstappen has done the exact same. He's angled his car to the right-hand side to try and cut across Lando Norris. We'll see which driver cuts across who and who gets the better launch. We've got the final few cars approaching the grid now. Yuki Tsunoda pulls himself up into the pit lane as he is starting from there with a brand new engine and a brand new setup. And DRS is disabled. We'll be getting the DRS enabled on lap number 2 of the race, and we have got the final cars approaching the grid now. Lewis Hamilton, the last car to park up on the grid position. Here we go, folks. We are about to get underway for some racing here in Las Vegas. Last car has approached the grid, and we have got the green flag waving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. It is lights out, and away we go. Great start there by Max Verstappen. Is he going to get ahead of Lando Norris? Norris going slowly. Is that damage? We've got Russell going round the outside of Lando Norris. Down in towards turn number 5 they go now. Russell is neck and neck. He is side by side. He is ahead. Norris is down 2 full positions. I don't know why he's going so slowly, if there is any sort of damage to Lando Norris's car, but Max Verstappen up in the lead of this race. Russell in second position. Piastri, though, also down 2 places. Both McLaren drivers are down 2 positions. Sainz also drops down into 4th place, and Isaac Hadjar up 3 places. Chaos in towards turn 1. Hamilton has just gone up 6 positions, ladies and gentlemen. He started in 19th. He's up into 13th position after one sector. That is crazy. Stroll has stopped at turn number 5, and they've just asked Stroll, make sure you go into P0. Sorry about that, man. So clearly some sort of contact has happened for Stroll. I don't know if he's parked it up off the side of the circuit or if he's on the racetrack, but Stroll and Bortoleto must have had some sort of contact, because Bortoleto is going slowly. Stroll has stopped. Yellow flag has been deployed for, I think, Lance Stroll. Yeah, it probably will be for Lance Stroll. And oh my goodness me, that has been lap number 1. Max has already pulled a 1.1 second gap. Now, Piastri has got to get ahead of Lawson, his fellow Kiwi. Well, of course, Piastri's Australian, but, you know, close enough. And yeah, he's got to get ahead of him, and he's got to get ahead of Hadjar and Sainz. 3 drivers, 3 cars that are drastically slower than the McLaren, and he's got to do this ASAP, because Norris is out of position. This is his only chance to gain some points back in the championship. DRS has been enabled, ladies and gentlemen, and Norris has dropped out of DRS range of George Russell. Already dropped out of DRS range. There's just the yellow flag there for turn number 1. There must be some sort of debris at turn number 1, but we've got Sonoda coming into the pits, Bortoleto also coming into the pits, so maybe some sort of damage or contact for those 2. Oh, huge lockup, and someone's broken a front wing. It's one of the V-carbs going slowly here through turns number 5 and through number 7 and 8, and Lawson has got some sort of damage to his front wing, and his front right tyre is smoking, and he's dropping down the order very fast, down into 10th already. Piastri now up into 5th position. Next up is Hadjar and Sainz to overtake. What is going on with Liam Lawson? I don't know, but he's down into 15th position. I don't know if he had contact with the wall ever so slightly. Turn 6 is a very tricky corner. You've got to be braking and turning at the same time. If you misjudge your braking point, you can just tap the wall on the right-hand side, and you can end up with a significant amount of damage. VSC has been deployed, and that's going to help out Liam Lawson. He's not going to lose too much more time. He has already lost, 10 positions, which is not great, but, he's going to make it back to the pits. Double yellows for now, and VSC over the entire racetrack. What a start to this race, folks. So just to quickly go through the race start, Max Verstappen gets a great launch. Lando Norris tries to cut him off, but Norris goes super deep into the corner because he's trying to cut Max Verstappen off, and Verstappen just sails by. And then we have got Norris, because he went onto the dirty part of the circuit, losing grip to George Russell, who swoops round the outside of the start of the race, which was mega from him, and pulled off that move. And Norris, again, having to play it safe. He knows that he's in the championship battle. He cannot afford damage, cannot afford contact, so he concedes the position to George Russell as well. And so that was the mistake there from Norris, just not being ready for the huge drop-off in grip by driving on the dirty part of the circuit. All right, we're on lap number 3 right now. VSC's deployed, and quite the amount of carnage, to be honest. We've got a replay here. Bortoleto was, I think, driving along with went down the inside. Contact with Stroll. Huge contact. Bortoleto, he just went down the inside and just braked way too late. So Bortoleto was the driver, I think, who crashed into Lance Stroll and resulted in Stroll DNFing. Liam Lawson also had contact with Oscar Piastri and just barged him out of the way, which was not ideal. So that's what happened there. We had a big lockup from, I think, one of the Williams as well. We had an Alpine pointing in the wrong direction. I think that was very clearly Pierre Gasly. But chaos at the start of turn number 1 here in Las Vegas. We've got 20,000 people watching the stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and enjoying the coverage. If you are enjoying, of course, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe. Goes a long way to helping out the channel. would really help out. All right. Piastri and Lawson have been noted for causing a collision. Lawson is already down in 18th position. It would be it's under investigation right now for causing a collision. That's a pretty easy penalty to give to Liam Lawson. But yeah, I mean, the man's already in 18th position. Do you really need to give him another 10-second time penalty? I think karma has already done its work, so we'll see how that goes. VSC is ending, ladies and gentlemen. VSC is ending. The drivers have got to get the delta time right back down to 0, and we are about to go racing, I think, in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Track is clear, and racing is back underway. DRS has been re-enabled, folks, so that's something to watch out for. Piastri has gained, I think Piastri's just gained half a second on the VSC. Hadjar not perfect on the VSC restart, and Piastri gaining a little bit of time there. All right. Collision between Bortoleto, Colapinto and Stroll has been noted for causing a collision, so we'll see how that goes down and what goes on there. But DRS has been enabled. The tyres are going to try and get switched on again. The drivers have probably lost a little bit of temperature during the VSC, and we'll see how that goes. But the fastest first sector from Kimi Antonelli, actually. Of course, that's because he's had the entire first sector actually green flags, whereas Verstappen and everyone else had a few yellows through turn 1 and 2. But Max is on fire, and he's pulled that gap out to George Russell to 1.2 seconds. Norris is 1.5 seconds back. He has just gone purple in the middle sector while also being in the dirty air. He's also broke the DRS to Carlos Sainz. So we shall see how much progress Lando Norris can make. And they're coming over the radio here to Oscar Piastri to help him out through turn number 9. Turn 9, of course, if you can stay close through 9, that means you're going to be closer through turn 12, and there's the chances of you overtaking at turn 15 and 14 are much, much higher. So they're already setting Piastri up to make some overtakes by giving him a better run through turn number 9 and modifying his torque settings. All right. So yeah, fastest laps coming through for everyone, and let's see how it goes. Sainz has got DRS on Norris again. Norris broke DRS and Sainz got it back with an incredible final sector. So great job there from Carlos Sainz. In the Williams, of course, that is slower than the McLaren by about 0.2 per second on every race lap, but Sainz is still hanging on in there, trying to keep the DRS to Norris, because if he can keep the DRS to Norris, that makes it a whole lot easier to defend against Isaac Hadjar, and that's the problem that Sainz has got at hand right now, and Piastri has got to close the gap up. Honestly, it's 1.8 seconds right now, and yeah, that needs to dip down to 1 second ASAP, because, well, it's now or never to make these overtakes. You can't let the strategy do it for you. Verstappen's just gone fastest in the second sector. Russell has just gone second fastest in the second sector, a few milliseconds back from him, and yeah, Russell is just got within the DRS window now, and yeah, the next DRS detection point just there on the exit of turn number 1. What's the method to watch the race live, folks? If you want to watch the race live, it's Surfshark VPN using the link in the description, and then you join an Austrian VPN server and search Service TV. That's how you can do it. All right, Tsunoda with the fastest lap of the race. Very nicely done there from Yuki Tsunoda. And Charles Leclerc gets ahead of Oliver Behrman as they exit turn number 16. I think Behrman gets quite the bad exit, and Leclerc up into 7th place there. Good job by Leclerc. We'll see if Behrman tries to re-overtake him, actually. Going in towards turn number 1, Leclerc has to defend a little bit, but he hangs on to 7th position. Russell well within DRS range now of Max Verstappen. He's just gone fastest lap of the race as well, and he's now under pressure. Well, he's putting Max Verstappen under pressure. Russell versus Verstappen is incredible on the racetrack, and well, I can't wait for this. He's got DRS, and well, they'll be approaching turn number 14 very, very shortly. Max has got a new engine, so that's going to give him a little bit more horsepower, but we'll see how it goes, and we'll see if the top speed is enough to keep George Russell behind. Here we go then. Bortoletto and Stroll are under investigation for causing a collision. The incident between those two, I think Bortoletto will be getting a penalty for that one. He braked way too late and just went into the side of Stroll, ruined his race, and caused him to DNF. He's caused Bortoletto, of course, to DNF as well, but there may be some penalty points dished out for that one. All right, in towards turn number 14, Russell looks really good, but he has to back out of that one a little bit too far back, and Max does have a purple middle sector. Like, Max is pushing very hard to maintain this gap and try to stay ahead of George Russell. We'll see how much longer Max can push on for, but Russell is pretty good on these tyres, especially in the Mercedes. Track temperature is down to 17 degrees Celsius. This is when the Mercedes absolutely excels. And, well, Russell can attack lap after lap after lap without having to worry about overheating his tyres. So, game on, ladies and gentlemen. Game on. The lap time, the time lost in the pits is right there at the top of the screen. 20 seconds is lost in the pit lane once the drivers come into the pits. All right, Piastri, the gap between Piastri and Hadjar still 1.6 seconds. Piastri, come on. If you want to win the championship, you've got to close the gap. Norris has just gone third fastest in the first sector. He's looking to close up on Russell and Verstappen, but they're very much in another league right now. I think Norris, I don't know if he's got the pace to compete with those two. Here comes George Russell then. He is 9 tenths back going in towards turn number 12. And, if he can hold turn number 12 a good gap, if he can get a good exit, if Verstappen makes a little mistake, Russell could be in with a shot here. So heading down the back straight, the gap is 8 tenths of a second. He passes the DRS detection point, and it is again 9 tenths of a second. The flap gets opened, and, well, Russell is gaining, but again, a little bit too far back to make the move in towards turn number 15. Max has done just enough again, and by just enough, he's gone purple in sector 1 and he's gone purple in sector 2. That is how much he is having to attack to just hold off George Russell. And, the Mercedes are looking dangerously quick this weekend. Another fastest lap of the race there by Max Verstappen. Russell is only 2 tenths slower, so the margins are not that big right now. Can you show you the tyre strategy? The tyre strategy, start the race on the mediums. If you pit before lap number 20, you're on a 2-stop. If you pit after lap number 20, you're on a 1-stop. That is the tyre strategy for today, folks. And if you're on the hard tyres, if you pit after lap number 30, you'll be doing a 1-stop. If you pit before lap number 30, you'll be doing a 2-stop. That's the situation. All right. Russell on pure pace can't catch Max. Yeah, Max has still got a lot of pace left in the tank, I think. But he will probably be taking a lot of life out of his tyres as well to keep George Russell behind. Look at that gap. It's 0.999. Max is pushing like crazy in the first sector. Russell at some point was going to run out of battery, was at some point going to start feeling the effects of dirty air as well. And it looks like that has happened just now. And Russell is out of DRS range, and Max Verstappen has, mission accomplished really, broken DRS to George Russell. Oscar Piastri, Isaac Hadjar, the gap is still 1.6 seconds. Hadjar 8 tenths back from Carlos Sainz, not able to overtake him, but Piastri also not able to get close. As Verstappen just made a mistake into turn number 14, I think he has, because Russell has just closed the gap back up again. So, yeah, Russell is looking pretty good, and we shall see how much longer he can stay close to Max Verstappen. Oscar has damage, I think. Maybe he does have damage. I don't know. He did have contact with Liam Lawson at the start of the race. Lawson has also not got a penalty for that one. No further in action for causing a collision, which is slightly strange because it was very clear sort of contact. But I guess because it's lap 1, turn 1, the stewards are sort of being a little bit more lenient, which they have done in the past before. So we don't know if Piastri's got damage. Do keep an eye out on the radio, and maybe we'll get some information coming through there. Lewis Hamilton purple in the final sector. That's of course him making some moves, making some overtakes, and getting a whole bunch of DRS and slipstream down this DRS zone here. That's made him gone purple. Okay. Max Verstappen, gone purple again, and the gap now 1.4 seconds, very comfortably has broken the DRS to George Russell, and it looks like it's going to stay that way until, of course, once the drivers come into the pits, and then the strategy will mix things up that way. Piastri now, by the looks of it, is starting to close up on Isaac Hadjar. Kimi Antonelli has been noted for a false start, moving before the signal. So Kimi Antonelli is in 15th position, but he may be getting a 5-second time penalty because because he jump-started the race, which is obviously against the rules. So yeah, we'll see how that goes for him. I'll let you know and I'll keep you updated. Let's see, what else have we got going on? Norris is waiting to fight at the end between Russell and Verstappen. He'll close in fast before the first pit stop. Yeah, maybe that'll work. Maybe that will work. However, when Russell and Max were getting close to fighting, when Russell was getting severely affected by the DRS, Norris wasn't closing up. Norris, in fact, the gap was extending its way out to Norris. So, yeah, I don't know about that one. Max Verstappen, another fastest lap of the race, a 1:36.3 from him. Why is Max's Sector 3 so slow? Because Max has got no slipstream or no sort of DRS. So there's probably that. That's probably what's holding him back, and that's also why he's pretty slow down in the top speed department. Yeah, there you can see 16th position for Max in the top speeds because, of course, he's not got anyone to get DRS from. He's not got anyone to get a slipstream from, so he's going significantly slower. Albon has also been noted for a starting procedure infringement. This is crazy. We've had so much stuff happen at lap number 1 of this race. Albon has been given, well, he's going to go under investigation for a starting procedure infringement. I don't know exactly what, but clearly something's gone wrong there for Alex Albon, and we'll see what penalty goes his way. We're on lap number 10 of 50 of this race here in Las Vegas. Max Verstappen leads the way, 1.2 seconds clear of George Russell. Lando Norris is in third position, 2.7 seconds back from Russell, 4 seconds back from the leader, Max Verstappen. Piastri unable to close up on Isaac Hadjar, so Piastri's in 6th, Hadjar's in 5th, and Carlos Sainz, a smooth operator, is holding a steady 4th position in that Williams. F1 Gamer, I got Surfshark VPN. What's the website in the country? It's an Austrian VPN, so you search Vienna or Austria, and I think it'll come up. And the website is Service TV, and then you can just Google it, and you should be able to watch the Formula 1 coverage. We've got 21,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you are all enjoying the coverage, and look forward to commentating for you guys out in Qatar next weekend. We've got 1 week till Qatar. And we've got one weekend after that till Abu Dhabi. Genuinely 2 weeks, folks, and that is the end of the Formula 1 season. 14 days. And that's it. Game over. Wow, that is kind of crazy, isn't it? I don't know what I'm going to do in the off season. I'm going to get pretty bored. Max World Driver Championship possible. Okay, folks, I will put up the standings, the current driver standings. Let me just pop them up onto the screen and give you guys a glimpse of what is going on the standings. So, currently, the standings would be Norris gains 15 points, Piastri gains 8, and Max Verstappen gains 25. So the points gap, which is currently 49 points between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, that would go down from 49 to 39 points. Still a little bit far off with 2 races left to go, and again, Norris would need a DNF. And in this current situation, Norris is further extending that gap to Piastri if the positions stay like this. However, Piastri has just got within DRS range of Isaac Hadjar. Hadjar has lost DRS to Carlos Sainz, so now is prime opportunity for Piastri to make a move on Isaac Hadjar. So here they go, down the main straight. Piastri has got a healthy chunk of DRS as they go in, healthy chunk of slipstream, sorry, as they go through turns number 1, 2, and well, they'll make their way towards turn 3, where Piastri will now get DRS. He's firmly within the DRS window. He's half a second back from Isaac Hadjar, and DRS flap open, tucked into the slipstream, and Hadjar's come over the race saying, let's make sure to be aggressive. And, Hadjar's not giving up this position easily to Piastri, and he defends in towards turn number 5. And, Piastri will have to find another corner to overtake at. Okay. Max Verstappen, purple first sector. This guy's clearly got a lot of pace left in the tank. He's 1.8 seconds clear of George Russell, 2 seconds and 4 seconds clear of Lando Norris. Piastri is now, very much tucked up in Isaac Hadjar's slipstream, and in towards turn number 12 they go. Oh, it's a lock-up from Piastri at the exact wrong time, and this is going to put him under pressure from Charles Leclerc behind him. The gap between Hadjar and Piastri skyrockets. The gap between Leclerc and Piastri drops to 0, and Piastri's going to have to go defensive. Leclerc to the outside, into turn number 14 they go. Who's going to go latest on the brakes? Piastri tries to defend, but he just cannot. He makes a mistake at the exact wrong time, and instead of overtaking Isaac Hadjar, he loses out to Charles Leclerc. It goes from bad to worse for Oscar Piastri. And what can you say? What can I say, guys? It's not great, is it? Lando Norris, fastest lap of the race. He's going to try and close up on George Russell. We'll see if he can make that happen. And but Russell still looks to be pretty quick. He's only a tenth slower on that previous lap. All right, Piastri fans punching the air right now. Piastri is fading fast. And it's not looking great, really. Charles Leclerc's going to try and overtake Isaac Hadjar. We'll see how that works out for him. They're making their way through turns number 8 and 9 right now, and Leclerc is practically pushing Hadjar through. And also, I've got to say, the Racing Bulls livery, the V-Carb livery, whatever it's called, looks spectacular. 10 out of 10 livery, and I would love for them to have that livery at every single sprint race. Isaac Hadjar's charging up the battery a little bit here as well. It looks like he's been using quite a bit of battery to defend against Piastri, and now he's going to defend against Leclerc as well. But he was charging up the battery going in towards turn number 12, and, here they are, going down the main straight. Charles Leclerc is tucked right into the slipstream. He's going to have the DRS get activated as well. He is gaining on Isaac Hadjar, but will it be enough going in towards turn number 14? And by the looks of it, it will be just so late on the brakes. Down the inside he goes, and overtake completed. Charles Leclerc up into 5th position, and Lewis Hamilton makes an overtake at the exact same time. Perfect synchronization from the two Ferrari drivers, and Hamilton up into 12th, Leclerc up into 5th position. Piastri now is right on Hadjar's tail. Unfortunately, cannot get the move done in towards turn number 1, and we'll see if he can get the move now done in towards turn number 5 now that he is right on Hadjar's tail. And Hadjar's now got DRS off of Leclerc, which means that the top speed difference between Hadjar and Piastri is not going to be all that big. And we'll see how that goes. Russell over the radio saying, steering, same again. I don't know what he means. Steering, same again, and then a swear word over the radio. So, clearly having some sort of issues there, but clearly not that big issues because he's only less than a tenth slower than Verstappen is. Antonelli's come into the pits, and that is why he's also got a little bit of clean air, and that's why he's setting a fastest lap of the race. Okay. Oh, a big bit of debris flying off Alex Albon's car as he was trying to defend against Lewis Hamilton, and bit of front wing end plate flies off for Alex Albon there, but he comes into the pits, and I think he gets that one replaced. There is a piece of carbon fibre sitting in the middle of the circuit. This could bring out the yellow flag actually, or a VSC or something. Piastri's trying to overtake here, going into turn number 14 for Isaac against Isaac Hadjar, but still again a little bit too far back, and Hadjar's got the benefit of DRS from Leclerc, which is saving him right now and making it very difficult for Piastri to make a move. Okay, lap number 15 of 20, folks. So if the drivers pit before lap number 20, we're expecting a 2-stop race. If the drivers pit after lap number 20, it's looking to be a 1-stop race. That's the current situation as of right now. Does Lewis have the pace? Well, he's currently in 12th position. He made up 6 positions off the start of the race, and then hasn't made that much progress since. Antonelli has been given a 5-second time penalty for jumping the start of the race. He went before the lights went out, so yeah, fair enough. Antonelli gets a penalty, and he'll have to serve that at his next pit stop. Okay. Max Verstappen, another purple first sector, so Max is just cruising along at this point. He's got a lot of pace left in the bag, and yeah, he's been managing his tyres. So much clean air available to him, managing his tyres, and we'll see what he can do. We've got Alex Albon coming out of the pit lane now with a fresh set of medium tyres. What happened to Stroll? He got crashed into by Bortoleto, and both of them retired. So unfortunate there for Stroll and Bortoleto. What is Albon doing? Albon had an 11.3 second stop, so I suspect that was changing a front wing. I don't know exactly what Albon did, but there was an incident between Albon and Hamilton, which is noted for causing a collision. So maybe that's got something to do with it. Albon is approximately... Well, he's now like 40 seconds back from Lewis Hamilton, so that's 2 pit stops back. I don't really know what's going on there, but he's just on 2 pit stops. Albon's going to try to go to the end of the race. That's Albon's strategy. Hard, then 1 lap on the medium tyres, and then back onto the hards to go right till the end of the race. So Albon's going to try and pull off a long stint, and he's just missed the wrong window to come into the pits. The VSC has just been deployed for the piece of debris at turn number 14, and that is what... it took them a while to deploy that VSC, let's be honest here, but the VSC is out, and once Liam Lawson moves his way away, they've got a big old gap where no car is approaching sort of the danger zone where the carbon fibre is, so a marshal makes his way and picks it up and is now running off the circuit. So we should have the VSC ending very soon. I don't know if anyone will be able to make a pit stop here, but we've got marshals just on the track there at turn number 14. Albon is approaching that point right now, but the marshal is well off the circuit already. Okay. Yeah, it was a piece of carbon fibre on the racing line. If someone was going to make an overtake, they would literally drive over the carbon fibre, get a puncture to their tyre, and then go straight into the tyre barrier, which is not something that they want to happen, and that's why they brought out the VSC. It does make sense, it's fair enough. The VSC is ending now, folks. VSC is ending. Okie dokes. Piastri now trying to get ahead of Isaac Hadjar. DRS will be getting enabled right away, and Piastri is, well, he's getting DRS, and here he is. Oh, sparks flying in a huge way, and Piastri is miles ahead of Isaac Hadjar, and yeah, that car is really sparking away for Oscar Piastri, but gets the overtake done just as the VSC ends. Probably a few laps too late, and he's also lost the position to Charles Leclerc, which is going to be problematic. We'll see if Hadjar tries to re-overtake Oscar Piastri, but I don't think Hadjar will really have the pace. And Piastri is now looking onwards and, trying to close the gap up to Charles Leclerc. We'll see what he can do. Any update on Norris damage? I don't think Norris has got any sort of damage. And if he does, it's reasonably minor. Yeah, Norris didn't have any sort of contact at the start of the race. I sort of misspoke there. He was going really slowly because he drove over the dirty part of the circuit that had absolutely no grip whatsoever. He got shocked by the fact that he had no grip, and then as a precautionary measure was driving a little bit slowly to make sure that, you know, he doesn't just spin out or crash into someone else. And that's why he was going slowly off the race start, and that's why he lost the position to Verstappen and Russell. When did Max get into first place? Turn 1, lap 1. That's, Lando Norris did bottle that race start. He got a pretty good launch, actually, but drove over the dirty part of the circuit. And, the rest is, you can see what's happened. Norris, however, is closing up now on George Russell, so we'll see what happens there. Nico Hulkenberg closing up on Ollie Behrman as well, and we'll see if, and in fact, actually, folks, if the championships stays the way that it is right now, I'm not going to show it up on the screen, but Haas will gain 5 points, Aston Martin will gain 0, and that will put Haas up into 7th place in the constructors, and Aston Martin will lose that 7th place and drop down into 8th. So we'll see how it goes there. George Russell into the pit lane, lap number 18 of 50. This is very, very borderline for a one-stop strategy. Russell could do a two-stop, he could do a one-stop from this position. He'll have to really, really massage his tyres if he is going to pull off a one-stop strategy. I'm going to be very clear with you guys here. That's what Pirelli say. Pirelli would expect Russell to probably pit lap number 22, 24. So we don't really know if Russell's going to be doing a one-stop or a two-stop in this current situation. We'll just have to keep an eye out on his lap times. If he goes blisteringly purple everywhere, then he's probably doing a two-stop. If his lap times are nothing sort of standing out, then maybe he's doing a really big massage on his tyres and trying to do a one-stop. Okay. Or maybe he's just trying to undercut Max Verstappen. Who knows? We shall see what his outlap looks like. Lando Norris fastest lap of the race, and he is now 3 seconds back from Max Verstappen. This is our chance. Let's try and pick up the pace. And Norris saying, yeah, no, I have clean air, just miles better. So I've set a purple flying lap. So that's what Lando Norris means. And let's see what he can do. All right. Does Gasly have damage? I think so. He got spun around at some point, so maybe some minor damage. I'm not exactly certain, but the Alpine isn't all that quick, to be honest. So I don't know how much it would matter regardless. Okay, we got 22,000 people watching the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for watching along. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. If you haven't hit the like button already, be sure to do so. Hopefully we can make our way towards 6,000 likes. If you haven't subscribed as well, it'll be fantastic to hit 215k subscribers. So yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's currently 4:35 a.m. here in the UK. And yeah, I have quite tired, so would very much be appreciated. Okay, Lando Norris fastest lap of the race. Max Verstappen, however, purple sector 1. So it's game on, ladies and gentlemen. The race is on between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri, unfortunately, nowhere to be seen. 1.7 seconds back from Charles Leclerc, unable to make the move that he needs to ever so desperately make. And, well, yeah, very, very bad from him. And it was that lockup at turn number 12 that cost him. He was about to overtake Isaac Hadjar, but locked up, then lost the position to Leclerc, and then also got stuck behind Hadjar for about, 7 laps or 6 laps or something like this. Yeah. All right, Alex Albon under investigation for a starting procedure infringement, so we'll see what happens there. But Albon's already down in dead last, so we'll see if he gets a penalty added onto his situation. F1 Gamer, please enable slow mode. We've already got slow mode. Yeah, the chat. When you got 23,000 people in the stream, we do get quite a lot of chat messages coming through. All right, fastest lap of the race there from Lando Norris. Oh, sorry, not fastest lap of the race. He previously had the fastest lap, but on this occasion he goes a tenth slower or so. Yeah. Hamilton trying to get ahead of Esteban Ocon here as they make their way down in towards turn number 1. There's no DRS down the main straight. They've both got the Ferrari engine, and Hamilton not really gaining all that much. I think Ocon's using quite a bit of battery here to defend against Lewis Hamilton. And, well, Hamilton's going to try and make the move in towards turn number 5, I think. Both of them suffering a little bit from the dirty air as he goes through turns number 4. He's not able to get as much of a good run as Ocon is. However, that doesn't matter because the DRS flap is open, and he's tucked into the slipstream, and he's gaining, but the car's sparking away, and the Ferrari cannot overtake the Haas, and, well, it's average Ferrari activities, to be honest, average Ferrari weekend. Wait, why has Russell come into the pits again? Is that a mistake, or is that a glitch, or did Russell actually come into the pits twice? That is a glitch, folks. Russell has only come into the pits once. Yeah. 5-second time penalty for Alex Albon for causing a collision. That was Alex Albon versus Lewis Hamilton, which happened about 10 laps ago, if not more. But yes, or maybe it wasn't 10 laps ago, but either way, Albon has been given a penalty for that one. Why is there no radio from Hamilton Ocon? Probably because the drivers aren't talking to their engineers while they're battling away. The drivers quite specifically don't like to talk to their engineers when they're in a wheel-to-wheel fight, and that's why we're not getting too many radio messages. Hamilton, however, does get ahead of Esteban Ocon and up into 9th position for Lewis Hamilton, so up 10 places. And folks, we're approaching the halfway point of the race. Who is your driver of the day? We've got a reprimand for Alex Albon for a start procedure infringement. I have no idea what that even means. A reprimand brackets driving for Alex Albon, start procedure infringement. Who even knows what that means? But he's down in dead last. I don't know how big of an impact it's going to make. We've got a lot of people saying that we've got Lewis Hamilton for their driver of the day. I think Carlos Sainz is also there with a good shot. Of course, he's up there in a net P3. Actually, no, sorry, not net P3. Once you take into account George Russell, he's in net 4th position. But regardless, Sainz is doing a pretty nice job. Max is also holding a very solid pace up at the front. So, yeah. Here we go, then. We are on lap number 21 of 20. So now the drivers that are still out on the medium tyres, it's very likely that they're going to go to the end of the race. And, well, considering that Max Verstappen is still setting personal best lap times, he's still improving, it's very, very clear to see that the tyres aren't wearing out as much as Pirelli expected, given that the track temperature is just so low today. And, yeah, we will be expecting hard tyres on their next pit stop, and they'll be going to the end of the race. Leclerc is right on the back here of Carlos Sainz, actually. Former teammates. Here comes Charles Leclerc. What can he do? Will he overtake Carlos Sainz? How much defending will Sainz do? Piastri has just been called into the pit box, so it's box. Okay, folks, this is a good strategy call by McLaren here. So because Leclerc and Sainz are about to start battling, Leclerc's going to start losing lap time here because, yeah, they're just going to get caught up in battling, and then one's going to go defensive and so on and so forth. They're going to lose lap time. Piastri now comes into the pits. He's going to try the undercut. He's going to try and go maximum attack out of the pit lane and use his hard tyres as much as he possibly can, whereas Charles Leclerc is stuck behind Sainz, losing lap time in every single corner. So the strategy might just work here, and Piastri might come out ahead of Leclerc and maybe even Carlos Sainz as well, if his outlap is perfect, if there are absolutely no mistakes whatsoever. So let's see what Piastri can do on his outlap. Albon goes purple in the middle sector on a warmed up set of hard tyres. These hard tyres aren't going to be that warm right now, currently on Piastri's car. We'll see how he does. He's just been told over the radio, a reminder for the introduction, they're currently in the pit window, but we do need good pace at the end of the race. So essentially what they're saying is, this is a good opportunity, but yeah, he's got to be careful not to wear out his tyres too much. He does have another 28 laps of racing left to do. Yeah, let's see what he does though. It's a 31.9 in the in the middle sector, which means that is like 4th fastest. So pretty good going there from Oscar Piastri. And Norris has just come into the pits as well. Sainz is into the pits. Sainz does not want to get undercut by Oscar Piastri, so that's why he's dived into the pit lane. And we'll see what Charles Leclerc can do. They've asked Charles Leclerc to attack, and we'll see if the overcut works, if the undercut works. But is it a quick stop for Carlos Sainz? 2.6 seconds, reasonably quick. The McLaren stop was 2.7 seconds for Piastri, and Piastri comes out just behind Carlos Sainz. And in fact, Piastri's tyres are warm, Carlos Sainz's aren't, and Piastri is pushing Carlos Sainz through turn number 4. Here they go. DRS is wide open. Sainz goes defensive. Piastri breezes by past the straight, and he's up into a net P3 or maybe even P4. It depends on, of course, what Charles Leclerc does, what his outlap's looking like, but a fantastic strategy call there by the McLaren crew, and they've really helped out Oscar Piastri close that gap up. All right, good job there from the McLaren boys. And Williams, of course, will have hoped for a slightly quicker pit stop. You know, if that pit stop was half a second quicker, that overtake would not have happened. But unfortunately, the pit stop happened. It was 2.6 seconds long. And, well, Carlos Sainz has paid the price. We'll see what Leclerc does. Folks, again, you lose 20 seconds in the pit stops. So if Charles Leclerc pits right now, he is going to come out in between Piastri and Sainz. That is approximately what it's looking like. But of course, it depends on how quick the Ferrari pit stop is as well. We'll see when Leclerc comes into the pits, if they tell him to box very soon, or maybe he's going to be going again. Oh, they've just told Charles Leclerc to lift and coast. They've just said lift mid -1, already good. So they're telling him to do less lifting and coasting, but Charles Leclerc, as always, as is the Ferrari way in 2025, he's doing a little bit of lifting and coasting. Yes, the predicted gap, folks. So if Leclerc comes into the pits right now, Leclerc will come out behind Oscar Piastri. So McLaren strategy masterclass in essence, essentially. They've made the overtake work. via the pit stops. Piastri unable to get it done onto the track, but the strategy has helped him out, and then Piastri is theoretically behind Lando Norris by about 14 seconds. Oh my god, is that 14 seconds correct? Yes, it is. 14 seconds is the net gap between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, and they've both done their pit stops as well. So yeah, Piastri's got a lot of lap time to gain if he wants to close up on Lando Norris in the championship. They've come over the radio. Norris is coming over the radio. You've got to tell me two things. Am I doing my race or am I trying to go forwards? And they think this is plan B for everyone, and we're going to try and go forwards and beat Russell to the end. We want to have better tyres than him at that stage. So essentially that's what they're saying. We'll see how that works out for Lando Norris. I think, folks, not even I think, I know for a fact that some of these tyre, these numbers here for the tyre wear are clearly glitched out. Norris did not just come into the pits on the previous lap. He has not just got one lap old tyres, and yeah, there's some sort of mistakes going on here in the data, so don't take it this 100% correct. Leclerc's coming to the pits, 2.7 second stop for him. He's coming out of the pit lane now. Who will come out ahead, Charles Leclerc or Oscar Piastri? Piastri swoops around the outside of turn number 1 and he gets out ahead, and Carlos Sainz is losing the position to Charles Leclerc. However, he is right on Leclerc's tail. He got overtaken in the exact same way by Oscar Piastri. Now can Sainz do the exact same thing back to Charles Leclerc? Down towards turn number 5 they go. Sainz has got the DRS and he's trying to gain, but he's just a little bit too far back. He's one car length too far back to send one to the inside, and Sainz has lost the position to both Piastri and Charles Leclerc in the pit stops. Very, very unfortunate. Max Verstappen has been told to box, and he will be coming into the pit lane, and he'll be coming out 1.8 seconds ahead of George Russell. Russell knows that Max is coming into the pits, and he's just at a purple middle sector, and Verstappen, of course, will be coming out on slow tyres. If there's ever so slightly of a slow stop here, if that pit stop is 3.5 seconds instead of 2.5 seconds, Russell is going to be all over the back of Max Verstappen. So here comes Max Verstappen into the pit lane. Is it going to be a quick stop from the Red Bull crew? They've got the world record for the fastest pit stop, and he gets held a little bit, but it's not too bad. A 3.0 second stop there from Max Verstappen. Here comes George Russell barreling his way down the start-finish straight. He is going maximum attack, fastest lap of the race, and in towards turn number 1 they go. Max Verstappen is marginally ahead of George Russell, but Verstappen's tyres are not warm. Russell's are. So Russell is going to continue attacking, continue trying to close this gap up, and try and win this race. Okay, here we go, folks. Here we go. 1.2 seconds the gap. The gap is falling and falling and falling. We'll see if Verstappen can get his tyres switched on immediately. We don't really know. And yeah, a few other drivers have been able to do it. It really depends on the car, though. And the gap 1.2 seconds as of right now. We'll keep an eye out on what Max's middle sector looks like. Yeah, I mean, it would be ideal if they showed Max versus Russell on the main screen rather than this little window off in the left. But I guess as a... apologies for the coughing there, folks. Yeah, there's not really much of a battle going on between Leclerc and Sainz. The gap is 1.3 seconds, but I guess the gap between Verstappen and Russell is also 1.4 seconds. So Max has just gone purple in the middle sector, so clearly he's managed to get his tyres switched on immediately, and whatever hopes Russell had of trying to get into the DRS have been, well, cut a little bit short, and Russell's going to have to go again to try and get within that 1 second window. What is Hulk doing in P4? Hulk has not come into the pits yet, folks. So once Hulkenberg does come into the pits, he will get dropped down into P11. He'll come out just behind Isaac Hadjar, but ahead of Fernando Alonso if he comes into the pits now. So that is what Hulkenberg is doing in P4. And the same thing can be said for Lewis Hamilton. If he comes into the pits, he will also get dropped behind Isaac Hadjar, but ahead of Fernando Alonso. Alex Albon in last position has just set the fastest lap of the race. So... great job there from Alex Albon. That quickly gets taken away by Oscar Piastri. So Piastri now, he knows that he's got to close the gap up to Lando Norris. Let's see what he can do. And Grand Slam for Max Verstappen? Unfortunately not. Max Verstappen didn't get pole position. He has led every single lap. He may get the fastest lap of the race, but he didn't start in P1. So there's no Grand Slam for Max. All right. We've got 24 laps left of this race. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you are all enjoying the coverage. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't done that already. And, well, here we go then, folks. We are getting towards the exciting stages of this race. Oscar Piastri is behind Esteban Ocon in the form of traffic. Ocon is, pretty much just traffic to Piastri. But he's got to pull off this move, like Piastri's on the fresher tyres, he's in the quicker car, and Charles Leclerc is gaining behind him. Leclerc just goes purple in the middle sector, half a second quicker than Piastri's middle sector, and... well, let's see what they can do. They've come over the radio. Leclerc saying the tyre pressure is good. Yes, we are happy. That's why I didn't say anything. Science 1.5. So, yeah, some sort of lifting and coasting thing and tyre pressures and ride height that they're talking with Charles Leclerc about there. But, the Ferrari seems to be doing okay as of right now. Max Verstappen, fastest lap of the race, up in the lead. What's a Grand Slam? A Grand Slam is when the driver gets pole position, leads every single lap of the race, never lose it, never goes down into P2. They are literally P1 from the start all the way to the end of the race. They also get a fastest lap, and that's a Grand Slam. All right, Esteban Ocon into the pit lane, so that leaves a whole bunch of clean air for Oscar Piastri now. He has got a set of hard tyres to go to the end of the race on, and he has got a gap to his teammate of... 14 seconds, 13 seconds or so, and, well, he's got to close that up. Folks, do you think he's going to close it up? I, unfortunately, do not think that's going to happen. I think Norris has got some pretty solid pace here, and, Piastri was looking good in quali before Leclerc brought out the yellow flag in front of him. However, the race pace from Piastri hasn't been so good so far, and just his difficulty making overtakes in the first stint does not bode well for the second stint. 10% chance of rain right now. I mean, well, we'll see if the rain arrives, but again, it is just a 10% chance, folks. Lewis Hamilton got DRS here on Nico Hülkenberg. Both drivers on 27-lap old hard tyres, and Kimi Antonelli behind them fast approaching, also on 25-lap old hard tyres, who started the race out on the softs but came into the pits pretty much immediately. And... the 4th, 5th and 6th, they are all going to come into the pits probably in 2 or 3 or 4 laps now, not too long before they come into the pits. The medium tyres can very comfortably go to the end of the race from this point. What is Hamilton and Hulk's position after coming into the pits? Well, you can calculate it for yourself, folks, but I'll do it for you. So they are currently 11 and 12 seconds behind the leaders. They'll lose 20 seconds in the pit stops, so that if you do 11 plus 20, that goes you to 31. So they'll come out behind Hadjar, but ahead of Fernando Alonso. So that's where they're going to come out. Same thing for Hamilton and Antonelli. If he comes into the pits, he'll come out just ahead of Alonso, depending on how quick his pit stop is. So that's sort of how I do the calculations. You look at the overall gap here, you add on 20 seconds, and then you go down to find out which position they would end up after the pit stops. Okay. Tsunoda up into 15th position, and he's up into 15th because Liam Lawson's come into the pits. Penalties. Albon has got a 5-second penalty, but he's down there in second to last position. And then apart from that, I think Antonelli has also got a 5-place penalty, 5-second time penalty. Actually, yes. If you add on the 5-second time penalty for Antonelli, he's going to get dropped much further back. So there we go. Okay, Max has just been told over the radio that his tyre appearance looks good. So, of course, there's the aspect of the driver's feeling what the tyres look like. And then there's also the aspect of what the tyres actually look like from the outside, from an external perspective. And, clearly there's not too many signs of major degradation on Verstappen's tyres, and he's comfortable to push on for the next 20 laps of this race. Hamilton comes into the pit lane, and there you go. He comes out of the pits just behind Isaac Hadjar, but just ahead of Fernando Alonso as expected. Charles Leclerc, fastest lap of the race, trying to catch up to Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri trying to close up to Lando Norris, but that gap is, 19 seconds to the leader and 14 seconds to Lando Norris. So again, he is not getting any closer. In fact, on the previous lap, Norris was 0.3 quicker. 20-lap medium stint, indeed 20 lap medium sim is very much possible. You can see here the drivers in the first, Verstappen did 25 laps on the mediums, Norris did 22, Piastri did 21, Leclerc did 24. So very, very easy for Hamilton to go to the end now on a 21 or a 22 lap stint on the medium tyres. All right. Yeah, here we are on lap number 30 of 50, folks. Thank you all for tuning in. We've got 25,000 people tuned into the live stream. Hope you are all enjoying the coverage. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully we can make our way towards 215k subscribers. All right, yes, Hamilton has got medium tyres going to the end of the race. And Hulkenberg also comes into the pits now. We'll see if he comes out ahead or behind of Lewis Hamilton. Thoughts on Piastri's downfall? I mean, it just sort of needs to be studied. Really, we've never really seen it such a big downfall. Oh my God, Fernando Alonso trying to overtake Lewis Hamilton here. They're racing as hard as ever. Brilliant from these two, and Alonso is right on Hamilton's tail. Hamilton, of course, is on the fresher tyres, but Alonso's not going to give this one up easily, and they make their way through turns number 4 now, and DRS wide open. Hamilton has not got the top speed advantage. Fernando Alonso has. He's got a broken end plate as well, actually, Fernando Alonso. The end plate is hanging off his car, and Piastri goes fastest lap of the race, actually, so he must have heard what I was saying, and he's decided to pick up the pace. Thanks for the donations. It's just scrolled by here. Foam Y99, it's closing time for the brewery. I'm going to go Max. Well, closing time for the brewery. Enjoy the beer, I guess. And go Max Verstappen. He's 3 seconds up in the lead of this race. And Charles Leclerc, purple in the middle sector, looking to chase down Oscar Piastri. Fernando Alonso, unfortunately, hasn't got the pace to defend against Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton on the fresh medium tyres. Alonso on the used hards. So Alonso is now just using Hamilton as a DRS. He's basically just using him as free DRS to keep Behrman behind. Behrman's got quite a lot of pace, and I don't know if Alonso's got the outright speed to keep Behrman behind him, so he's using Hamilton as DRS to keep Behrman behind as much as he possibly can. Behrman still looks to the inside, sends one to the inside. Crazy move there by Behrman, and Fernando Alonso just has to get overtaken. There's not much he can do about it. Didn't go defensive at the right time. We'll see if Alonso can re-overtake him back in towards turn 1, and Alonso is gaining, in fact, but it looks just a little bit too far back to send a move to the inside, and yes, Alonso loses the position to Behrman, and the dirty air effects are now getting stronger and stronger. Can you show the points as of now? Indeed, I can. Let me just pop that up onto the screen here, folks. So, Lando Norris gains 15 points. Oscar Piastri gains 10. So, that pushes the points gap from 24 to 29. So, Norris will be 29 points ahead. And the points gap between Norris and Verstappen, which is currently 49 points, will drop to 39 points if the positions stay the way that they currently are. But Antonelli has still yet to pit, and Antonelli has also got a 5-second time penalty. So we'll wait for Antonelli to pit, and then that will be the most accurate and up-to-date pit stop, the gaps and stuff like that. Alright, can you show the team points as of right now? I will show you the team points a little bit later on. It takes up way too much of the screen. I can't show you... maybe I might be able to show you the team points without showing you the driver points. Let's see. Give me a sec. Alright, here you go. You can look at the team points as well. 25 points for McLaren, 30 points for Mercedes, 25 for Red Bull, and only 9 for Ferrari, so not ideal there. And... Williams there in 5th position, Racing Bulls further back, and then, the rest, nobody else has lost or gained any positions anywhere else. Okay. So that has been, everyone's done one pit stop. The only driver, I think, yet to come into the pits now is Kimi Antonelli. With 18 laps after this race, he is going to have to come into the pits. It's unlikely that he's going to be able to do 48 laps of racing on a single set of hards. What's Russell saying over the radio? I know that Norris will be quick. I'll do what I can to defend from him, but I don't want to do something stupid and risk the podium. You can see here Russell is getting chased down by Lando Norris. Gap is 0.7 of a second. So Let's see, what is George Russell going to do? Is he going to go really, really defensive? Let's see. Or, well, what's he going to... Yeah, he said he doesn't want to take too much risk, but he knows that Lando Norris can also take not too much risk. He knows that Russell has the upper hand here. He can be as aggressive as he wants because he's not in a championship battle. Norris has got to be very careful here of, well, potentially crashing out, losing a lot of points to Piastri and to Verstappen. So, well... Let's see what will happen. What will George Russell do? Will we get some interesting moves? What's Norris said over the radio? Do you want me in DRS and to try and overtake? And yes, they've come over the radio, say overtake. We're gonna go get Max. That's what they're saying. Getting Max is a bit ambitious. The gap between Russell and Max is 5 seconds, and there's only 17 laps after this race. Max has clearly got enough pace because he's just at a purple first sector. So I think getting Max is a bit unlikely, but we'll see what George Russell can do in terms of defensive work. Antonelli, purple, goes third fastest in the first sector, so still some solid pace there, to be honest, with Antonelli on those hards. Maybe he could go right to the end of the race. Who knows? Or maybe he's just attacking just before he comes into the pits. Verstappen, second fastest in the middle sector, so yeah, Max has clearly got a lot of pace. Here comes Lando Norris then. Down the back straight they go. DRS, Norris is firmly tucked into that DRS, and they've both got the Mercedes power in it. Norris, however, has got the flap open for the DRS, an extra 20 kilometers per hour. Norris goes to the outside, Russell to the inside, and Russell, does he go defensive on the brakes? No, he does go defensive, but he's not late enough on the brakes, and Lando Norris up into P2, and, that was extraordinarily easy. I thought Russell would have put up a little bit more of a fight. I know he wants to not risk a podium, but, Norris doesn't want to risk a championship. Surely can be a bit more aggressive than that one. But I guess Russell's just playing it safe, trying to bring home the P3 for the Mercedes team, because at the end of the day, what matters for Mercedes is the Constructors' Championship. They need to stay ahead of Max Verstappen in the Constructors, and that is why, Russell is looking to get this podium. And, Max and Lando Norris now up into second position, 5 seconds back from Max Verstappen. Now, folks, this is the question here. Do you think Lando Norris, will be able to close the gap up to Max Verstappen? Currently, the gap is 5 seconds. We have got 16 laps remaining of the race, so he's going to need to gain 0.3 of a second every single lap right till the end of the race to close up on Max and to get the overtake done. Will Lando be able to do it? He's got slightly older tyres as well. Max's tyres are 9 laps old. Lando Norris is a 12. Yes, let's see. All right. Piastri's 1.7 seconds back from Kimi Antonelli. We'll see what he can do there. But Antonelli's probably going to back Piastri up into Charles Leclerc, and that is not good news for Piastri. So we'll see how that goes. They're going down the back straight, and Antonelli 1.6 seconds ahead of Oscar Piastri. Sadly, I think it's a long shot. Well, we'll see, because Norris has just closed up 0.3 of a second on that lap. He's just gone fastest lap of the race, and he gained 0.2 on the overall, and in a few sectors he did gain 0.3. So we shall see how it goes. Lando has got it's looking good though. It's looking good for him so far. There's of course 15 laps left, so he's got a lot of time to for his tyres to wear out. Let's see, what if Max and Lando take each other out? That would ruin Max Verstappen's championship chances. And however slim the chances, I think Max still wants to hang on to those. Also, Norris has just made a huge mistake in the first sector. Or Max has just started to push extraordinarily hard because somehow Verstappen has gone 0.8 faster in the first sector alone. Instant jinx, because and then in the middle sector he's gone 0.1 faster. So Max has I don't know how he's done that, 0.8 faster in the first sector. Crazy. Albon slowed Norris down. Norris of course has got a little bit of traffic to deal with, but slowed him down that much, I think, who knows, we'll see. Okie dokes. Here we go then. 14 laps remain. Max Verstappen, fastest lap of the race. He goes 2/10 quicker than Lando Norris's previous fastest lap attempt. And Norris has had to make a few overtakes here and there. Max Verstappen, not so much. He's had clean air from the start of the race, and he's been able to manage his tyres just exactly as he would have wanted to. So, I suspect Verstappen has still got some more life left in his tyres and some more battery left to deploy, if need be. Piastri within 8/10 of Kimi Antonelli, and here they go through turns number 3 and 4. Is he going to be close enough to make an overtake? 9/10 back is way too far back in the first DRS zone. And, it looks like Alex Albon is retiring from this race, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very unfortunate there for Alex Albon. But, he had a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. And, things just weren't going great for him. So, into the pits and retired for Alex Albon. All right. Let's see. Piastri now is getting close to Antonelli. 7/10 is the gap as they head towards turn number 12. And let's see what he can do. 7/10 is the gap. Piastri doesn't make a mistake on this occasion. Antonelli is never going to get as good as drive as Piastri will, because Piastri's got 20 lap fresher tyres, and they head down the back straight. DRS activated for Oscar Piastri, and he is gaining, but he is 2-3 car lengths back, and he is not sending a ridiculous dive bomb to the inside, and he's going to have to wait one more lap to try and get this overtake done on Kimi Antonelli. Yeah. Max Verstappen, another fastest lap of the race. This time, Norris is only 16 milliseconds back. So, again, it's not... The pace difference isn't too big. Actually, Norris is 4/10 slower in Sector 1, but then he is 4/10 faster in Sector 3. So that is quite interesting, actually, how... of course, it's quite interesting how we're getting different... some drivers different in different sectors by that much. 4/10 is quite a significant chunk, to be honest. But... the lap times are nearly identical. F1 Gamer, what are you going to do in the off-season? I don't know. I'm going to get bored, to be honest. I might have some interviews coming up with some Formula 1 engineers. I know some people in Williams and in Mercedes and in McLaren. So I will be looking to get some interviews done with them and maybe post them up on the channel. But we'll sort of see how it goes. We need a safety car. Yeah, I mean, the safety car things would really sort of spice things up, wouldn't it? LJ the man, thanks for the donation there, buddy. Very much is appreciated. And thank you everyone that has donated to the stream. Thanks everyone that's hit the like button. Big thank you to all the channel members as well. We've got a lot of people that have joined the channel membership recently, so that is really appreciated. Maybe I'll do some F1 gaming. Who knows? I haven't done F1 gaming since I did one stream of F1 gaming back in 2021, and that was it. Here comes Oscar Piastri, tries to go around the outside of Kimi Antonelli. Antonelli having absolutely none of it. Piastri, huge snap of oversteer, actually, as he makes his way through there. And again, he's coming under pressure from Charles Leclerc. This could happen again. Oh my goodness me. As they head down the start-finish straight, Piastri is under severe pressure from Leclerc. He's having to weave left and right to keep Leclerc behind him. And he's almost done take 2 of the same mistake that he made probably, 20-30 laps ago or something, where he was trying to overtake Isaac Hadjar, he locked up, and then Leclerc overtook him immediately. On this occasion, he got a huge snap of oversteer, and Leclerc was about to overtake. But the Piastri's mistakes are really creeping in. I mean, if you look at the first half of the season for Oscar Piastri, there was that mistake in Australia where, at his home Grand Prix, I feel like he would have been under a little bit of pressure. Norris, of course, ahead of him, went off. He followed him off, made that mistake there. But apart from that, Piastri was pretty much flawless, and now the pressure started to build a little bit, and the mistakes have really started to creep in. Okay, gap up at the front, folks. The guys that were predicting that Norris is not going to close up to Verstappen, it looks like you're correct, because Verstappen has in fact pulled the gap out to 5.4 seconds now. So, doesn't look like... and look, Verstappen's just set another fastest lap as well. Here comes Lando Norris across the line, and he's about 1/10 or 2/10 slower. So, Yeah, very clear to see that Verstappen is going to hang on to this race lead for the next 11 laps unless something drastic happens. And Piastri is still half a second back from Antonelli. It looks like Antonelli is genuinely trying to go to the end of this race. He did momentarily set, you can see that to the bottom left of me, Antonelli is third fastest in sector number 1, and he set that only, I think, probably 4 or 5 laps ago or something like that. So he had some serious pace left in his tyres, and I suspect that he has genuinely just massaged the tyres from lap 1 and is trying to go right to the end. 11 laps remain, he could pull it off, but he's under severe pressure from Piastri and from Leclerc as well. Okay, yeah, here they go, through turns number 7, 8 and 9, and Piastri is right on his tail. We've got a 3-way fight for 4th position here. You can do an F1 race competition with fans and you can do the commentary of the... yeah, maybe. Who is the driver of the day? I'm not sure who is the driver of the day, but if Kimi Antonelli makes it to the end of the race on these tyres, Kimi Antonelli will most certainly be my driver of the day. Also, the other thing is, even if Piastri doesn't get this overtake done on track, Antonelli has got a 5-second time penalty for jump-starting the race. He went before the lights went out, so that 5-second time penalty will be added onto his time, and he will get dropped back down behind Piastri, behind Leclerc, and maybe behind Sainz as well, depending on what the gap looks like in about 10 seconds' time. Another fastest lap of the race there for Max Verstappen. I mean, this is why we had a fastest lap counter back in 2024 when Max was just blisteringly dominating every single race. We would just count the number of fastest laps to do because there was nothing else to do in 2024 when Max was winning, or in 2023. And yeah, another fastest lap. Here we go. Excellent race by Hamilton. Yeah, Hamilton has also made some good progress up the field. I mean, he started in 19th, which of course was not ideal, up into 10th, but... yeah, I mean, we would have expected a little bit more, getting ahead of Hülkenberg maybe, but, well, Hamilton has still made good progress. Thought we would have got another Sainz podium? Yes, I was also sort of hoping for that, but the strategy blunder sort of has gone on the wrong side of Sainz, and Leclerc and Piastri both overtook him through the pit stops, or the lap right after the pit stops. So yeah, unfortunately, Williams were just hanging on too long to their tyres, and just weren't looking at the strategy carefully enough. What is the track temperature record? I think the lowest track temperature that we've had is 12 degrees Celsius here in Las Vegas. The highest that we've ever seen, I think, in the Formula 1 calendar itself was Sao Paulo last year. We had 58 degrees Celsius track temperature, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, those are the two extremes of track temperature. Lando Norris fastest lap of the race, actually. On that occasion, he goes about a tenth quicker than Max Verstappen, so good job there by Lando Norris, his middle sector specifically standing out. Why did Albon retire? Albon retired because he was running in last position. He already had a 5-second time penalty, and they just decided, well, there's no point running in this race anymore. We might as well just go to the back, might as well just retire. So, yeah. That's sort of what happened there. Did Kimi pit at all? Kimi did pit lap number 2. He pitted off the soft tyres immediately onto the hards, and then he's been on those tyres ever since. And that's been the situation for Kimi Antonelli since lap number 1. Since lap number 3, actually. And but he has got a 5-second time penalty, which he didn't serve in that pit stop. And even if Piastri cannot overtake him on track, he'll get that 5 seconds added on, and he'll get dropped back down. Is Kimi going to pit again? Probably not. With only 9 laps left to go, if he's made it this far on a set of hard tyres, he's going to go right till the end. Unless, of course, he gets a puncture or anything like that. But he started in 17th position, and he's up in 4th. Like, mega job there from Antonelli. And massaging those tyres around here is no small feat. He will have been in a bit of dirty air here and there. Right now, he's got clean air, and he's got company behind him. So he'll be looking in his mirrors. He's got a papaya and a scarlet Ferrari behind him. But, yeah, Kimi Antonelli, totally unfazed. No mistakes whatsoever. Do you think Kimi can make it to the end on these tyres? Yeah, I think he can, yeah. He's defending for Russell too. That also does make sense. But again, that gap between Antonelli and Russell is now 10 seconds. So Antonelli could very easily let Piastri by. And with 8 laps left to go in this race, Piastri's not going to catch up to Russell. And Russell will still secure the podium. Okay. It's Max versus Lando in the World Drivers' Championship. Oscar is out for me. Well, let's quickly put up the standings here. It's still not going to be correct because Piastri will gain some more points after he overtakes Antonelli via maybe on track or maybe by the time penalty. But yes, Norris gaining 18 points, not Piastri gaining 10. Most likely, though, it will be 12 points that Piastri gains rather than 10. And then we've got Verstappen gaining 25 points. So it's getting quite exciting here. But Lando Norris, it looks like he has got nearly one hand on the world title already. All right, Piastri still stuck behind Kimi Antonelli, and Leclerc unable to get ahead of Piastri because of this DRS train, essentially. Yeah, that's sort of the problem. All right, folks, we've got 7 laps remaining. Will Piastri overtake Antonelli on the circuit, or will he just be stuck behind him for the entirety of the race? To be fair, he doesn't have to actually overtake him on the track. He doesn't have to make that sort of risky move because he knows the penalty will give him the position anyway. But do you think that Piastri will get the overtake done on the track or not? Honestly, missed the fast lap point. Yeah, I don't see why they... I mean, I sort of understand why they removed it, but it really isn't that big of a deal. It's like 1 point at the end of the day. So, who else? Yeah. I would prefer if it was here. He has no reason to. Yeah, exactly. Like, why take that risk? He's already losing points in the championship. If he DNFs out of this race, it'll be championship over. And... at least, next race he'll have, again, the possibility of one of the drivers retiring and then gaining some more points there. But, yeah, it's not ideal. In fact, Piastri's just dropped DRS to Antonelli. This could spell bad news here. If Piastri makes a mistake into turn 12 on this lap, he will be under pressure from Charles Leclerc and have no DRS to defend with. So this is looking not great. Here he comes across the DRS detection point. What is the lap time? He's just under a tenth. Just under 1 second, sorry. And he does get DRS. But that was nearly bad news and nearly looking very, very bad there for Oscar Piastri with 6 laps left of this race. If he lost DRS to Antonelli, Leclerc probably would have just breezed past him. Piastri's not talking over the radio. I mean, I don't know if there's much really to tell him as well. What are they going to say over the radio? Oh, please overtake Antonelli. I think, yeah, Piastri already knows to do that. How did Kimi get into 4th? It's because Kimi pitted so early and did loads of laps in clean air when everyone else was conserving their tyres in the dirty air and they were driving purposely slowly to make the tyres, last. Antonelli was in clean air at the start of the race when he pitted really early, and that meant that he could go at a reasonably quick pace without wearing out his tyres too much, and yeah, just exceptional tyre management has led him to get up into 4th position. If only he didn't jumpstart the race. So just again to clarify, folks, Kimi Antonelli did jumpstart the race, and that has given him a 5-second time penalty. And yeah, and that's why even if he is finishing on track in 4th position, it is highly likely that he is going to get dropped back down to 6th position, and maybe behind Carlos Sainz as well. Maybe he'll lose a position to there. Has Hamilton said anything about his car on the radio? Not that I have seen. He did have a little bit of contact with Albon, but I don't think it was all that major. Hamilton's pace just hasn't been there really. He got eliminated out of Q1. He qualified in 20th. The last time a Ferrari driver qualified in 20th was 2009 Abu Dhabi. It was that long ago. I just don't think Hamilton's got the pace this weekend. We'll see what happens next weekend out in Qatar. What app do you use for the timings? It's called Multiviewer, but you do need an F1 TV subscription. So there's a link in the description to F1 TV. You get that, and then you can download Multiviewer, and it works. But yeah, and folks, again, if you do want to watch the Formula One coverage for a very low price of $2 a month, you get Surfshark VPN using the link in the description. You join an Austrian VPN server, and then once you've done that, you can go onto Google, search Servers TV F1, and then watch the Formula One coverage for free. The only thing you've got to pay $2 for is for Surfshark VPN. There's a link in the description, and yeah. Okay. Ocon says 5 laps. I think you'll catch him anyway, so we'll see who's Ocon going to catch. Ocon is thinking of catching Lewis Hamilton, actually. That's what they say over the radio. He has got, Hamilton's on mediums, Ocon's on hard, so looks a little bit unlikely, but the gap currently 1.6 seconds. We'll see how it goes there. Piastri has very much lost DRS to Charles Leclerc, and Piastri's lost DRS to Kimi Antonelli, and now Charles Leclerc will be looking to overtake him. We'll see how that works out. Currently, the gap is just under a second, so not really much of a threat right now. Hamilton has brake issues, does he? Okay, well, there we go. I've been keeping an eye on all of the radio messages, but if someone else can also confirm if Hamilton does have issues or not, then that would explain the fact that he's down in 10th position, and that would explain why Ocon thinks that he can catch him. Must be the brakes, folks. Must be the brakes. Thanks for the clarification here, folks. Do apologise for not being on track of that. We recommend a 10-metre fork. That's what they've just said over the radio to Lewis Hamilton. We recommend a 10-metre fork. I mean, I suspect that's a mistranslation. They're probably trying to say like 10-metre lift and coast or something, because obviously it's Ferrari. What else are they going to do apart from lifting and coasting? But yeah, some sort of problems there for Lewis Hamilton. Charles Leclerc also drops out of DRS of Oscar Piastri, so we thought Leclerc was going to make the overtake, but apparently not. And Norris is trying to close up to Verstappen. I don't know why they're coming over the radio to Lando Norris saying, oh, you can still use the overtake button into turn number 14 and do this or whatever. He's 8 seconds back with 4 laps left to go. $10-metre fork for spaghetti. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on there with Lewis Hamilton, but we'll see if Ocon can close that gap up. Currently 1.6 seconds. Who do you think Verstappen will be Verstappen's teammate for the next season? I think it'll be Yuki Tsunoda to start out the season. However, going into the second half of the season, it's anybody's guess. We have no idea what happens at the Red Bull pit crew, so yeah. Norris is 10 seconds back. That is, Norris, of course, will also not be taking too much risk. On the previous lap, he did a 1:36.1. That is 2 seconds slower than Oscar Piastri. Why is he going so slowly? Unless that was a mistake. There was no traffic or anything like that. But yeah, Max Verstappen, fastest lap of the race, a 1:33.8. So I don't know why there's such a big pace difference, or if Norris is having big issues or something like this, but yeah, I don't know. That doesn't really explain the fact that he's going 3 seconds slower in the previous lap. Probably just made a mistake, to be honest. The driver standings here, folks, these are what the driver standings are looking like. However, again, Antonelli, it says he's gaining 12 points. Piastri is gaining 10. Most likely that's going to be switched around. Piastri's going to be gaining... Antonelli's probably gaining like 8 points, and Piastri's gaining 12. But regardless, it's not looking great for the championship standings right here for Oscar Piastri, going into a sprint race and then 2 more races, 1 in Qatar and 1 in Abu Dhabi. Norris is dropping fast. Well, we'll see. He's coming across the line now. And what's his lap time? Oh, wait, Norris has done a 1:37. What? Is that serious lap? Is he just losing pace? I don't know what's going on. There's only 2 laps after the race. But if he's going 3 seconds off the pace, Russell could catch him. Maybe if Russell starts attacking right now. But Norris, why is he going so slowly? There's some sort of... let's keep an eye out on the radios. But he's just done a 1:37.7. The gap to Max Verstappen, 14 seconds. Brake issues like China. Okay. Interesting. We'll see we'll see what happens. He's got 2 laps left. That is probably 4 big braking zones. 12 kilometers left of racing. We'll see how Lando Norris can hold on to this race. Okay. He's driving very, very slowly. Lots of lifting and coasting there for Lando Norris because, well, he cannot afford any sort of mistakes right now. And 1:37 on the previous lap. We'll see what his lap time is this time around. But there's still, we're getting towards the final lap of the race here. George Russell, that gap down to 6 seconds now. Russell is fast approaching, and we'll see how that goes for him. Verstappen's radio said that Lando has an issue. Okay, fair enough. We're doing fuel looks okay now, so maybe it's some sort of fuel problem, but I don't know. Either way, that's what they said to Lando Norris. So whatever he's doing right now seems to be working. Here he comes across the line. Previous lap of 1:37.7. He's done a 1:37.7 again. So that has been. So he should be able to hold that lap time till the end. Russell has just set a personal best time. He's doing his best to close the gap up. Max Verstappen is setting a purple first sector because it looks like it's the final lap of the race, and Max wants the fastest lap of the race as well to go with. What's happening to Norris? I think he's struggling with fuel. Lots of lifting and coasting. One more lap. Oh, Lando Norris struggling for fuel. They've just come over the radio into like 30 seconds ago saying the fuel is okay now. But I don't know how they're struggling for fuel. We had the VSC out for like a couple laps as well. Normally under VSC, the drivers are using barely any fuel. And that means that they're normally fine for the end of the race if there's even 2 or 3 laps of VSC. But either way, doesn't really matter at the end of the day. This gap is 5 seconds with, 3 or 4 corners left to go for Lando Norris. Max Verstappen, purple sector 1, purple sector 2. Here he is, coming through turns number 14, 15 and 16. Max Verstappen has led a brilliant race. He had a brilliant start in towards turn number 1. Never looked back since then. Purple sector 1, purple sector 2, purple sector 3. Max Verstappen wins the Las Vegas Grand Prix by 20 seconds compared to Lando Norris, and it's another win for Max Verstappen, and he closes up the gap to Lando Norris in the standings by 7 points. Lando Norris with lifting and coast issues, with with fuel issues in his car, comes across the line 20 seconds behind Max Verstappen. Russell is only 3 seconds back. Antonelli gets a 5-second time penalty and loses out a position to Oscar Piastri. And then we have got... So Antonelli finishes in 5th, Leclerc in 6th. He was 2 tenths off getting ahead of Antonelli due to the penalty. Sainz in 7th position, Hadjar in 8th, Hulkenberg in 9th, Hamilton in 12th, and Ocon in 11th. Yeah. All right. So that is... that has been the Las Vegas Grand Prix, folks. Those are the standings up on the screen. And to be honest, folks, I've had absolutely no sleep whatsoever. About an hour or so of sleep. And it's currently 5:20 a.m. here in the UK. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. However, I really do need some sleep. Max Verstappen has done a brilliant job in today's race. Lando Norris has now pretty much got one hand on the championship. Look at that points gap between himself and Piastri. That is 30 whole points. 3-0, ladies and gentlemen. George Russell, another podium for him, does absolutely nothing. Again, P3 for George Russell. Fantastic. I think we're going to end off the stream with an absolute cinema from Max Verstappen. If I can actually find the meme this time. Where is it? There we go. Absolute cinema from Max Verstappen. So, there we go. You know what that is? It is simply lovely for Max Verstappen. So that's all from me, folks. What I'm going to do, I'm going to end the stream. It's going to take you over to the Qatar Grand Prix. We're racing in Qatar in 1 week's time. So next weekend, we're in Qatar. So be sure to hit the like button on the Qatar stream. Be sure to also hit the reminder button as well. It helps out hugely for the channel. And I hope to see you all for the race in Qatar next weekend. And then we, of course, have got Abu Dhabi in 2 weekends' time. But that is all from me, folks. It has been a pleasure commentating to you guys. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are around the world. And I shall see you all in 1 week's time for the race in Qatar. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the reminder button, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye, folks. Yeah, I really do need some sleep. Oh my god, I'm yeah.